Friday. Big game players aim to electrify football fans from coast to coast. Expect wide-open action as the Ticats challenge the hometown Blue Bombers. Wendy's CFL Friday Night Football, TSN.
Imagine having the power to identify and capitalize on turning points in the world of business. Now you do. Report on Business Television takes you the inside track on how to build your financial future. Report on Business Television. Capitalize on it.
TSN, Canada's sports leader.
There's a new boss in Montreal, and it has not taken long for his presence to be felt. Mike Pringle, the league's most dominant rusher the last 5 years, is now on the outside looking in, while Lawrence Phillips is the new go-to guy. Argonauts rookie head coach Gary Etcheberry is looking for his first win, and Joe Montford is sure to be pumped. It's the Argonauts and the Owls tonight on Wendy's CFL Live. And there's a beautiful shot of downtown Toronto. What you can't see is the cameraman taking that shot, sweating to death. It's a little hot here in Toronto, but we are ready for some CFL football. Welcome to Wendy's CFL Live. First of 3 consecutive nights, we'll bring you some Canadian Football League action on TSN. It's hot, sticky, which means a lot of water for the big fella down at the end. We don't want you cramping up halfway through. Chris Schultz down at the end, the quarterback in the middle, Matt Dunnigan, and the rookie out of Queen's University to my left, Jock Climby. We're all getting ready for the Alouettes and the Argonauts as Week 2 in the CFL kicks off at Skydome. The Owls won last week at home against the BC Lions. The Toronto Argonauts lost on Friday night that only had 4 days after losing to Winnipeg to get ready for a stiff challenge tonight. This is our first look this season at both of these teams, and one thing you'll notice right off the bat with Montreal, Mike Pringle, no longer the starter out of the backfield. It's number 11, Lawrence Phillips. Schultz, everybody's been talking about this, so I put the question to you. What do you think?
Well, I think it's the right decision. I really do, because with Lawrence Phillips, you have a bigger, stronger, faster version of Mike Pringle, and Lawrence Phillips is 27 years old. Mike Pringle is 35 years old. And you also have to look at a worst-case scenario. Let's say Phillips is a bust. Let's say he's ineffective on the football field and he's too visible off the football field. Well, by mid-August, he'll be gone. And who comes in? Mike Pringle, and he becomes the hero. The bottom line in pro football is it's all about performance, and Phillips' upside is phenomenal. Now, having said that, I do wish that ethics and sports were a little bit more correlated, because he doesn't deserve all these chances, and he may be an influence in the locker room, Jock.
Well, the Montreal locker room is something I know a little bit about, having spent 6 years there, and I'm still in touch with a lot of players. But first, let me start by saying this. When you have what's a big issue in the media, it doesn't necessarily translate into a big issue in the locker room. And I think nowhere is that more evident than the Pringle-Phillips issue. Of course, everyone's talking about this, but for the players in the Montreal Alouettes, all they care about is one thing, that's winning football games. They feel they have the best players on the field, and that's what matters. I'll tell you one thing they are excited about. Coach Matthews. He's come in with a very positive attitude. Another thing he's done with his sweeping changes is he's told everybody the buck stops with me. And I think with Matthews at the helm, this football team is going places.
I couldn't agree more, Jock. And Don Matthews has been like that wherever he's been, because he is the winningest coach in the CFL. He always has that effect. And a man who's having a big effect with the Toronto Argonauts is head coach Gary Etcheberry. Now, he had a lot of offseason acquisitions for his defense, but it's the offense that kind of fumbled the ball last week. They are employing a 2-quarterback system, 2 fine young quarterbacks in Stanley Jackson and Michael Bishop. These two will have to become battle-tested in a hurry, because you cannot afford to keep this much heralded defense on the field as long as they did last week. They're on the field for 85 plays. They give up over 10 yards in the air and 6.5 on the ground. That's, Dave, that's not indicative of the type of team this can be. I expect there to be a big learning curve, and we'll see that tonight.
And how about Stanley Jackson predicting a win tonight against Montreal? I've never understood that mentality. What good can possibly come out of that? Put the old bulletin board material up. The starting quarterbacks are brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL, and here they are. Anthony Calvillo is going to be your starter for the Montreal Alouettes. Looked pretty sharp last week against the BC Lions. And a guy who was his teammate this time 1 year ago, before he was released before the start of the 2001 season, Stanley Jackson. For more on tonight's game, the guys who will call it for you, John Wells and Glenn Suter.
I everyone, I'm John Wells.
And I'm Glenn Suter.
It's the Argos home opener at Skydome tonight.
The Owls are 1-0 while the Argos try to rebound after a loss in week 1 to the Bombers.
And the kickoff is coming right up.
Damon Allen is ready to play. Are you? If your name appears, you could win $1 million if 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, or a prize pack if a punt is returned for a touchdown in today's game. Shop at Safeway today.
Summer in Dublin, Ohio, where you can count on 2 things, mosquitoes and garage sales.
You know that's one of a kind.
Half the town is buying.
This must be one of a kind.
And the other half is selling.
It's one of a kind.
And with the money we save, we go to Wendy's for the super value menu. Everything is just $1.39. Junior bacon cheeseburgers, made Dave's way, cold drinks, hot fries. It's the best $1.39 you can spend.
One of a kind.
The super value menu at Wendy's. It's better here. And remember, you can eat great, even late.
If you're noticing that people are dressing better,
client meeting?
No. It might be because our summer sale is now in progress, which means you can get a great-looking suit for $130, a sport coat for $100, and if you're looking for ties, shirts, or slacks, they're also at big savings. So come on in. While you might not be the first in your office, it's probably best not to be the last. Well made, well priced, well dressed. Moores.
Hey guys.
I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. I'm on my way.
I am Canadian.
A lot of folks still think they can't get the sunglasses they love and the prescription they need. But at LensCrafters, we have all the new 2002 styles like Ray-Ban and Vogue available in your prescription. Come in and see. Are you lucky enough to need glasses?
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. New thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Wendy's CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's Classic Double with Cheese is made fresh right when you order it. It's better here. By Molson Canadian. I am Canadian. And by Moores Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
Hi everyone, the Argonauts begin a new home season with another new plan, another new head coach, and another new quarterback. The hope to recapture a football audience in Toronto, just like the Alouettes have done in Montreal. And the roof will be open at Skydome tonight. It's part of the pregame ceremony.
Well, they've done that in Montreal. Capacity crowd for week 1. They snapped an 8-game losing streak going back to next year.
And when we look outside, Glenn, it's a sticky night. 34 degrees. And there will be a slight breeze at 13 kilometers per hour.
Gary Etcheverry started his CFL coaching career in 1997 here in Toronto as an assistant. 6 years later, he's their head coach with a new mission: bring back a winning tradition.
And Don Matthews makes his return to Canadian football after his stunning dismissal by the Eskimos just prior to last season. The Montreal Alouettes are Matthews' 6th CFL team as a head coach. The Alouettes have a new plan. They're going to throw the ball all night long, according to everyone who has watched them perform in preseason and in that first game against the BC Lions.
Yeah, there's no question Don Matthews has handed the team to Anthony Calvillo. It was his team last year, but it was his team along with Mike Pringle. Well, this year, Calvillo has the reins all by himself.
And Terry Baker is back for another year. He was the all-Canadian punter last year in the CFL, averaging 46 yards per punt. A newcomer, Marcellus Turner, along with Jeff Johnson, back for the opening kickoff. And this is Turner out across the 25, spinning to about the 30-yard line, and he's dropped right there.
Ex-Alouette Stanley Jackson will get to start against his old team. He was an Alouette last year, came over and joined the Argonauts partway through the season. Did not see much playing time behind Kerwin Bell. So the numbers for Jackson from his debut as the Argo starter last week against the Blue Bombers.
We will see Michael Bishop in this game.
The Argonauts begin right on the 30-yard line. Jackson with a good arm, fires over the middle, and no catch at the 50-yard line. As Glenn said, Michael Bishop will see duty as well. All-star Daryl Mitchell and ex-Alouette Tyree Davis are the keys to Toronto's passing game. Up front, Chad Folk is back from injury, and Big Thomas Ram has arrived from Calgary and should help the offensive line.
Tyree Davis obviously wanting to have a big game with his new team because he's playing against his old team. Tyree Davis in Montreal last year, so he'll be against Wayne Shaw, who played with Toronto last year.
There you go. It's a reversal of last season. Tyree Davis made the catch, both one tackle. Flag is down in the Argonaut backfield, and Jackson is down as well. And Filion is in the neighborhood looking a little bit guilty.
Take another look at this play. Stanley Jackson drops back, throws this ball on time, and you can see it was Filion. Ed
Roughing the
Filion
passer,
went down
Montreal
low. He's going to get the roughing the
75.
passer kick
First down.
call. He went right down on the knees of Stanley Jackson. Of course, he's bracing those knees to make the throw. So that's a tough situation for a quarterback to be in. That's where you get hurt.
And as promised, we told you you'd see Michael Bishop in the lineup tonight, but we didn't expect it quite this soon. It wasn't if there was going to be any kind of an injury situation for Stanley Jackson. But Gary Etcheverry told us yesterday that he wants to see both these guys. He's got a whole bunch of faith in the backup quarterback, Michael Bishop.
Well, they're both very athletic quarterbacks. Both can move around, but Michael Bishop is a specimen. One more look at the injury, and you can see how that knee bent the way it wasn't supposed to. You know, and I know a lot of people wonder about changing quarterbacks in a game when last week Stanley Jackson was perfect in the passing department when he came out for Michael Bishop.
Tyree Davis made the catch. He was just short of the first down, a gain of 9 plus a 15-yard penalty. So the Argonauts move the ball out close to midfield with a 24-yard gain. And so Michael Bishop, 1 of 7 for 21 yards against the Bombers last week, gets the early call with the injury to Jackson. Sam Zanders, number 29 for a few.
A couple of changes in the Montreal defense in the front four. 2 rookies, Reggie Lowe and Mark Megna on the ends. Both rookies in their first CFL seasons. Stephon Reed, the all-star in that group. And in the secondary, Baron Miles is back after separated shoulder last year. We mentioned Wayne Shaw, the corner, an Argonaut a year ago.
There's Ed Filion, a nasty player indeed. Played 12 games for the Alouettes last season. And here's Bishop scrambling for his life. He just had to fire that one 5 yards past the boundary.
Well, Michael Bishop will now get plenty of playing time with Stanley Jackson out of the lineup. And Bishop does not look good, as you can see. Stanley Jackson can't put much weight on that knee hit by Ed Filion.
It was a late hit that cost the Alouettes 15 yards.
And maybe their starter.
Deep for the Alouettes. Keith Stokes standing back at his 10.
Watch him.
Prefontaine left foots it right down to the 2-yard line. Stokes is a speedy receiver, well surrounded by Argonauts and trapped inside the 4. Solid special teams coverage by the Argonauts, and the Alouettes will begin with their first possession inside the 5-yard line.
Home of Canada's greats, brought to you by your local neighborhood home hardware and home building center. Help is close to home. Tonight, Canadian football legend Terry Evanson.
At
At Home Hardware, we care about the communities we serve. As supporters of the Canadian Special Olympics, our goal is to help give athletes a chance to make their dreams come true. We salute all volunteers who work towards that goal. At Home Hardware, help is close to home, and Home's exclusive bulk packs are a great way to help save you money. Choose from hundreds of top quality items you use every day, from famous national brand names to the value of home branded products. Visit your local Home Hardware or Home Building Center for great day-to-day bulk pack prices and save. Home Hardware, help is close to home.
Terry Evanson played 14 seasons in the CFL. The brilliant receiver played in Montreal, Calgary, Hamilton, and Toronto, catching 600 passes for 9,697 yards. His 80 touchdowns are third most in CFL history. The six-time divisional All-Star won 2 Shenley Awards for Most Outstanding Canadian. Evanson was voted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1984. Go to Home Hardware for your chance to win a VIP trip to the big game in November. Home Hardware, where help is close to home.
Quarterback Anthony Calvillo got off to a hot start in a win over the BC Lions last week. Those are the numbers that Calvillo put up, 319 yards passing. And he got 3 touchdowns from the newcomer Lawrence Phillips along the ground.
21 of 28 is not too shabby for your first game out of the gate for Anthony Calvillo. Looks like he's throwing with even more confidence than he did last year, and he had a pretty good year last year, completing over 60% of his passes.
Alouettes like to go with a 5-receiver set. Calvillo can't find anyone open. Takes off himself, and he'll be short of the first down by a little bit, looking for Ben Cahoon, who is Montreal's only returning receiver. Corey Grant comes over from Hamilton. There are 2 rookies in there as well. Running back Lawrence Phillips is the talk of the league after taking Mike Pringle's job. And up front, Brian Chu, an All-Canadian, anchors the offensive line.
All the talk last couple weeks about Lawrence Phillips, who's the starting running back right now, and Mike Pringle, who is on the bench as the designated import for the Montreal Alouettes.
2 yards shy, and Phillips will have the first down with ease out across the 20. He wears number 11. 6th overall, chosen by the Rams in 1996.
Yeah, that's when he broke in, the 6th overall pick. That year had just over 600 yards rushing. That's what he did in game 1 versus the BC Lions. There's no question that Lawrence Phillips can play. It's whether or not he can empty out the baggage that he carries along with him.
Picked up 8 yards in his first carry here tonight. Calvillo back to throw. Nice play action fake. And he's got Thomas Haskins at the 40-yard line.
Well, it should be an all-star cast in the Argo defense when you have Johnny Scott and Joe Mumford up front. They have combined for over 150 sacks in their career. And then, of course, the veteran Michael O'Shea in the middle. In the secondary, Mike Fletcher comes over from the BC Lions to start at free safety. And Orlando Steinauer and Adrian Smith on the corners. Michael O'Shea calls all the defenses for the Toronto Argonauts. Gary Echeverry just allows him, the captain, to make the calls.
And he says, that's Mr. Echeverry, that O'Shea is the key to success for the Argonauts defense. And Phillips has nowhere to go this time. Roger Dunbrack was there and waiting.
You know, and through this Lawrence Phillips controversy, and the Alouettes, should make it clear, are not calling it a controversy. It's very simple for them. Lawrence Phillips won the job in training camp, even though he walked out twice from Mike Pringle, and so there is no controversy. He is the starter, and Don Matthews is convinced he's a better player.
Well, he's younger than Mike Pringle by a couple of years. From the shotgun after a loss of 3 on 2nd and 13. Little screen. This is Lawrence Phillips. When he gets his hands on the ball, he can do magic things, no doubt about that. He'll have enough for the first down. Wrapped up by Martavius Houston. So they'll try and get him the ball as often as they can.
You know, when you look through his career, he had some problems with the Rams, off-field stuff. They let go of him. Same thing in Miami, San Francisco. Not a whole lot different. He was 8 games there in '99. Then went over to NFL Europe and was pretty much kept his nose clean in Barcelona for the entire season.
Player of the year over there, right?
Yeah.
5 receivers set. The snap. Calvillo. Dunbrack is there again. Can't make the tackle. Calvillo still standing. Fires the long one. Cahoon makes the catch. No, he doesn't. Had it in his hands, and he dropped it. Clifford Ivory was with Cahoon all the way. And what a week he had in week 1. He should have had that one, too.
Well, first of all, it's really amazing that Anthony Calvillo, after this problem on the snap from center from Brian Chew, elects to try and make a play out of this. Most quarterbacks pick that thing up and throw it into row 7. Because this is just get out of this one without too much of a loss. But Calvillo gets outside on Roger Dunbrack and then finds Cahoon, and the ball is right there.
He'd normally make that catch. 2nd and 10, Alouettes. Swing pass near side. Nowhere to go. That's the newcomer, Bobby Newcomb, out of Nebraska.
You know, in the meantime, throughout this entire process, Hall of Famer Mike Pringle quietly sits on the bench, and there's some pretty impressive numbers in Mike Pringle's career.
No question, he has been the most dominant running back to come into the Canadian Football League in the last 20 years. And we've seen some great ones, Glenn, but this guy has chugged along through all of the seasons that he's been around.
You know, and I know a lot of people will still say George Reed was the best, but you can make an argument that Mike Pringle is the best all time. He's done in basically 7 years as a starter what George Reed did in, how many did he play? 19, 18?
Almost blocked. In fact, it is tipped by Ivory. Loose ball down there. It ends up in the hands of the Alouettes. There are flags down on the field. Terry Baker's first punt of the evening is tipped. And we'll sort out all the penalties when we return to Skydome. It's Wendy's CFL Live.
And what did you do this weekend?
I called this girl, but the line was busy.
Gary? Matt?
I went to Wendy's for lunch. Well, I see their hamburgers on TV and they look good. I ordered a classic double with cheese. Call me crazy, but I think they made it just for me. Hot, juicy, it tasted great. And when I finished, I felt good. And I liked that feeling.
Bravo!
Wendy's Classic Double with cheese. And now Wendy's pickup window is open late so you can eat great even late.
If you happen to see even more people in Moores these days, it's because right now we're having our summer sale, which means you'll find suits starting at $130, sport coats at $100, as well as casual wear, slacks, shoes, and outerwear at big savings. After all, while there may be a lot of places having sales this summer, we think you'll find what we have to offer will suit you the best. Well made, well priced, well dressed. Moores.
Man working from home office looking for internet connection that is dedicated at all times. Enjoys a fast-paced work environment. Wants dependable, budget-conscious, supportive partner. Only those well-connected need apply.
Why wait to log on when you can surf the web faster from as little as $24.95 a month? It's the start of a beautiful connection. Call Shaw for details.
No yards, Montreal roughing against Toronto, so that means Bishop will line up just inside his 30-yard line for a first down. Here's John Liu on the sideline.
Well, John, Gary Etcheverry's decision as to which quarterback to go with could be made already. Stanley Jackson has been taken, assumingly, to the dressing room. He was taken off in a golf cart. Trainers have not given us information as to exactly the nature of his injury, but we're working on both knees. Information should be coming from the team in due course. John?
Well, and that puts all the pressure on the shoulders of young Michael Bishop. 1 of 7, 21 yards last week in his debut against the Blue Bombers.
0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He, big man that can run and has a strong arm in warm-up. He was throwing 70, 75-yard darts. He can get it done physically. Whether or not he can pick up this game and how quickly they can send defenses at you is another question.
Tyree Davis to the near side, another newcomer to the Argonauts. Chad Plummer, far side of the field. And some confusion down there. Looks like a procedure call going against the Argonauts. Stanley Jackson is on the sidelines. Bishop is in the ball game.
You know, you wonder if Ed Fillion was falling into him.
Procedure, Toronto 58. Repeat first down.
And here's what happened to Stanley Jackson, the penalty called against Thomas Ram.
There's Fillion working one-on-one there with Sandy Annunziata. It looks like he was just fighting to get past him. I'm not sure that he meant to hit him that low. I think he was sort of fighting with Annunziata at the time.
Argonauts facing 1st and 15, and Michael Bishop is wrapped up in a hurry and brought down. Rob Brown was there, and Reggie Lowe, number 99, was in the area.
Show you something that Michael Bishop has to really recognize, and this is what we talk about. We talk about the defenses and how you can have different looks. He had an open receiver to his left. It was Sean Daniels out of the backfield, and he didn't see him in time. It was a hot pattern that you get rid of within a couple of seconds, but if he just recognizes the defense in front of him and finds that soft spot, he gets rid of that football. That's the learning curve.
So 2nd and 15 for the Argonauts. Back near the 20, and he won't get this one away either. Sacked and wrapped up by Mark Megna, who the Alouettes are excited about. He's a rookie out of Richmond, and the byline near his name is he never stops. Keeps coming and coming, and he got the quarterback there for his first sack.
Well, you know, John, NFL Europe right now is basically a feeder system for not only the National Football League, but also the Canadian Football League. And Mark Megna is one of those guys that spent time over in Europe with the Berlin Thunder, and 2 years ago was with Barcelona, and then honed his skills and came over here and makes it in the CFL roster. So really nice to have NFL Europe as a feeder system, because you're right, his motor never stops.
Keith Stokes is back near his own 50. Prefontaine not deep with this one. Stokes the speedster. Quick feet, as you see. But about 8 on the return as Mike Morreale got over to make the tackle. So Lawrence Phillips, a couple of nice plays for the Alouettes already, and licking his chops with a field position. The Argonauts have handed Montreal at this point.
You mentioned his good season. He was a player of the year in Barcelona. He had over 1,200 yards, and we've talked about Mike Pringle's numbers. It's just amazing. He will go down. He will be in the Hall of Fame. There's no question about that. And Jim Popp tells me, the general manager for the Montreal Alouettes, that he's capable of 1,400 yards now. So how would you like that as a general manager?
Time to make that decision. Here's Phillips. Well, nowhere to run, but he turned it into about a 5-yard gain.
Well, John, it's actually, I mean, it's going to be Don Matthews' decision as to who starts. But how, as a general manager, would you love to have the choice of Lawrence Phillips? Something happens to him. Hey, guess who you go to? Mike Pringle. Now, to Mike Pringle's credit, throughout this entire process, he's not asked to be traded. He's not complained. In fact, talking to a lot of the guys in the room, they say Mike Pringle is working hard and doing his thing. And the two of them get along well.
They rode together on the train from Montreal. Gain is actually 3 yards, 2nd and 7 for the Alouettes. No flags down, but there was some early movement. And the catch cannot be made. The newcomer, Pat Woodcock.
You know,
there is a flag on the far side, Glenn.
Just to wrap up the thought about Lawrence Phillips, it's certainly all the talk the last 2-3 weeks.
Offside, Toronto 24. Repeat 2nd down.
There's really nothing that Lawrence Phillips can do about it. I mean, Lawrence Phillips came in to compete for a job, and he has won the job, and that's really all he can do. Now, he can control those off-field problems, and so far so good as far as the regular season goes for Lawrence Phillips.
Lawrence Phillips is 27. Michael Pringle is 34, 35 in October. Here's Phillips off the right side. And he'll get the first down.
Now, Don Matthews has talked about when he wanted to retool the offense in Montreal, he wanted to go with more of a passing game, and last season, 29.5 times per game they threw the ball, 25.3 rush. That's about 50-50, which is high as far as the running game goes. But as you can see in week 1, it really turned out to be very similar to what they did last year. Now, Don Matthews wants to retool it, making more of a passing game. So far, it looks a lot like a year ago.
Look who's in the game, Mike Pringle. On a first down situation for the Alouettes after a 9-yard gain by Lawrence Phillips. His 4th carry. He has 17 yards so far in the first quarter. Wendy's CFL Live tomorrow night. Live from Commonwealth in Edmonton. Second game for those Ottawa Renegades. They'll go against the Eskimos. Ottawa looking for win 1, Edmonton for win number 2.
Yeah, they got a good start against Calgary Stampeders, their first game of the season. So nice matchup. A good showing by the Ottawa Renegades, who pushed the Saskatchewan Roughriders right to the limit. In fact, went to overtime.
5 receivers set for the Alouettes on first down. It's Pringle. Gets a chance. His first carry of the ball game, and Mike Pringle gets more than halfway to a first down.
And this is why, John, this is a good problem for the Montreal Alouettes. Lawrence Phillips goes to the bench for a few plays, and look who comes out, Hall of Famer Mike Pringle. Rips off almost 10 yards. You know, and the people that are big fans of the league will say, you know, Mike Pringle is close to George Reed's all-time records, and you know, if he can't do it here, why can't he do it somewhere else? Montreal doesn't want that.
Head down. He'll have the first down. 8 yards on his first carry, about 5 there. Michael Fletcher.
And Montreal should be selfish when it comes to that, and do whatever they have to make the best team they can. And they've done that by having both Pringle and Phillips on the sideline. That's what I'm talking about, how close Pringle is to George Reed.
Well, there's still a ways to go, Glenn, when you do the math on that.
Well,
2 good seasons to get there, right?
Basically, he's averaged around 1,700 yards per year. He needs about 1,200 per year to do it in 2 years. So if he gets 1,400, he's about 3/4 the way through 2004.
Gavillo puts it up this time. Calhoun made the catch. He'll have the first down. Penalty flag down inside the 10-yard line. Ben Cahoon, 9 receptions, 136 yards last week.
Forward pass interference. Montreal number 12. Repeat first down.
Newcomer Bobby Newcomb.
Caught pushing off away from the fact. But you mentioned Ben Cahoon, John, and boy, did he ever have a good game. I was down there. Didn't televise that game, but I was down on the sideline with Montreal playing the BC Lions, and Ben Cahoon caught everything thrown in his direction. Matt Dunnigan has said it many times, he can get you BB in the dark.
He's a wonderful receiver with lots of yards in receptions last year. Won't get it away. Lost the ball. Picked up by Phillips. And he's wrapped up as well. So this will be second down and a whole bunch back at the 40.
With Johnny Scott up front, and the combination of Johnny Scott and Joe Mumford can only get better as the season goes on. Johnny Scott's coming off a bit of an injury, but Mumford, over from the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who had a bit of a slow start in the first game versus Winnipeg, was slightly nicked up. But working together between Johnny Scott and Joe Mumford will get better and better up front for the Argos as the season goes on.
Kenny Kelly over to make the tackle. Now, second down and a pile for the Alouettes. Gavillo stands back over the middle. Cahoon made the catch and paid for it at the 25. Mike Fletcher made the stop.
Well, it was a headache for Ben Cahoon that bought the Montreal Alouettes a chance at 3 points. You know, and you take that because they were out of field goal position where Anthony Cavill let go of that football. So Cahoon takes the headache to give his team a chance for 3.
Terry Baker had a good beginning. 2 for 2 last week against BC. This will be a 30-yard try. Smooth Terry Baker. Good on 42 of 52, 79% last season. He has his 3rd straight in 2002, and setting up the field goal. The catch by Cahoon. He paid the price, but the Alouettes are on top by 3.
A touch of heaven.
When your skin is perfectly soft and perfectly fresh, it's perfectly comfortable. New Lever 2000 Moisture Response with Vitamin E. Its moisturizer goes where you need extra attention so you can get the perfect clean for all your 2000 parts.
Visit the Pepsi Taste Tour booth this summer, and you could win tickets to see Sum 41 in an exclusive concert.
Armor All wipes make it easy to clean and protect your car. And keep it looking like new. And now, there's new Armor All leather wipes.
There's one thing I will never stop chasing, the finish line. I'm Katrina LeMay Doan, Power Bar user since 1997.
Gary Echeverry, in his first season as head coach of the Argonauts, began his coaching career under Don Matthews here in 1997. Time of possession tells a lot about the opening quarter thus far.
That's got to be his concern right now on that bench, is that he needs his offense to put a couple of first downs together, not necessarily go down and score, but just give that defense on the bench a little bit of a rest.
Baker kicks it off after his 30-yard field goal. Marcellus Turner. Rookie out to the 25, maybe the 27, and wrapped up by Eric Lapointe. 20 on the return.
Boy, there was enough trash talking going on the last week and a half or 2 weeks to fill a dumpster around here.
Yeah.
Daryl Mitchell, before week 1, said the Argos will have a perfect season.
Not a wise prediction.
So much
most of the time, is it?
They got out of the gate down 39-15 to Winnipeg, and you know, Daryl Mitchell is a guy who can talk, and when he talks, a lot of people listen because he's got big numbers in his career. But that was a bit of a bold prediction.
That's an understatement. Sam Zanderson, first down, Toronto to the 30. Began the season as an Ottawa Renegade and ended up here when he couldn't make the Renegades roster.
Well, yeah.
There were injuries in Toronto, like Juan Johnson.
Juan Johnson started out as the back, they thought, of course, the former BC Lion that would be the running back for the Argos. But, you know, for Zanders, it was a tough situation in Ottawa simply because the Renegades had a lot of talent at the running back position. They have Mark Nora, they have a first-round draft pick there, and Mike Vilmick they're real happy with. So, and those are two Canadians. And, of course, Darren Davis.
Darren Davis had an outstanding debut for the Renegades last Friday night at Lansdowne in Ottawa. Flags are down there. So, it was 2nd and 7.
So sometimes, John, for a guy like Sam Zanders, it's not necessarily your talent that dictates whether or not you make the team, because he's a pretty good back. The problem was he was in the wrong place.
Time count violation. Toronto number 7. Repeat second down.
He's in the wrong place in the wrong time, and he's found a home here, and he's got a chance to at least show Gary Echeverry that he can be the starter as he goes out to play wide receiver on the play.
2nd down and 12. And Sean Daniels is stuffed. 0 on the play, and the Argonauts will be kicking again. So what you're really noticing out there is a little problem for the Argonaut offense, just getting things settled down with Michael Bishop at the controls. Well, a couple of penalties, including the time count there.
Michael Bishop is going to see linebackers moving everywhere, secondary blitzes. He's going to see the whole package from Montreal, because the Alouettes know one thing. He hasn't seen much as far as Canadian Football League defenses go. And another 3 and out for the Argos.
Prefontaine back at his 10. Waiting for it. Keith Stokes. He's got it at the 35.
He's scary.
Like right there. Still standing as he crosses midfield and finally surrounded by Argonauts at the Toronto 50. Nice return by Keith Stokes, covering 23 yards.
Come on,
We're going car shopping.
In Dublin, Ohio, home of Wendy's, things are looking up. One reason is Wendy's Super Value Menu. Junior bacon cheeseburgers, drinks, fries, all just $1.39 each. So we have money left for the things we need.
Get a grip.
Wendy's, it's better here.
Sport Tech is the hottest store for summer sports gear. It's where you'll find a great selection of bikes, golf equipment, inline, skateboards, and more. Check out the hot savings at Sport Check, Canada's choice for sports.
Back to the Argonaut first down. Cavillo back to throw, and that one was tipped.
Oh. Johnny Scott got some pressure on Anthony Calvillo, or Lawrence Phillips is doing whatever touchdown dance he does. We saw it 3 times last week versus BC, but Lawrence Phillips went in behind coverage down the seam and was wide open.
Roger Dunbrack was also in, applying a little pressure to the Montreal quarterback, who's faced a bit of it in the early going here tonight. Final 4 seconds of the opening quarter, with the Alouettes on top by 3 from a 30-yard Terry Baker field goal. This should be the final play of the opening quarter. More pressure on Cavillo. He's down again. Loose ball. The Argonauts have the opportunity if they can hang on. This is Dunbrack. Roger Dunbrack is down to the 32.
Joe Montford made the big strip. We've seen it a bunch of times. Joe Montford led the league in forced fumbles last year for Hamilton. He gets one here. Dunbrack picks up the fumble.
And if the Argonauts are going to have success, the defense is really going to have to hold this football team in the early going of football games. Dunbrack is the hero right here as he picks it up after Montford strips it. And the Argonauts are in good shape to begin the second quarter.
Welcome back to the Wendy's CFL Live studio. Big opportunity for the Argonauts as we get ready for the beginning of the second quarter. Big story in the first quarter, obviously, Stanley Jackson, the starting quarterback for Toronto, going down with what appears to be a knee injury. So now Michael Bishop, the rookie, his feet are being put to the fire, Manny.
Yes, without question. It's very unfortunate, but the quarterback controversy, not so much a controversy, but the quarterback situation is kind of taking care of itself. Stanley Jackson goes down with what looks like an MCL injury by a good, solid play on the inside, and that's unfortunate. First series, now Michael Bishop comes into play, and he's on the bench. Now he's under fire, and his eyes aren't right from the get-go. He's looking at that defensive line, putting some heavy pressure on him here, and he can see that his eyes just aren't where they need to be. Michael Bishop's going to be a long night for him if he doesn't get his eyes right. And there's a young man on the sidelines by the name of Matt Cannon from southern Utah that has now got a big lump in his throat, Chris, because he started as number 3 quarterback. He's now number 2, 1 play away from playing this game.
You think he's a little bit nervous, don't you? Yeah. Well, I tell you, my number 1 observation was all of a sudden you saw Mike Pringle at the midpoint of the first quarter. I was very surprised because I thought for sure Lawrence Phillips would have the vast majority of the plays. But then all of a sudden it dawned on me, makes a lot of sense, because if there's one thing Don Matthews will do, he will slightly or almost subconsciously threaten your job. Now you have 2 running backs that are competing against each other, and you could tell Mike Pringle was into this, because a couple times, what did he do after those runs? He looked right at the sidelines, Jock. I thought it was a smart move.
Indeed. Well, I'm going to roll a little Montreal running play of my own here, and this is going to be indicative, I think, of the new attitude of Anthony Calvillo. First of all, can't say enough about Phillips here. 1 spin move, 2 spin moves, takes a loss into a game. But there goes Calvillo up the field, throwing a block. Now, that is something you cannot coach. You cannot demand of your players. I think Calvillo is strutting his stuff this year, and this is an attitude that shows right there.
Well, let's see if the Argos can take advantage of the Calvillo turnover. Back to Skydome.
Here are the numbers as we get set to bring you the second quarter from Skydome.
1 first down in a quarter, and your defense is going to get very, very tired in a hurry.
Time of possession definitely favoring the Alouettes, but Montreal has just 3 points on the scoreboard. Placing it to Tyree Davis from Michael Bishop.
And that's a good call for Michael Bishop. That's a safe throw. Quick throw to the sideline on the short side of the field. Michael Bishop had the ball on the hash mark. He's going to make that throw. It's only about a 20, 25-yard throw to get it out there to Tyree Davis, give him some confidence, move the chains, get that first down.
Nifty little 12-yard gain for Bishop and the Argonauts. Set up on the fumble recovery by Roger Dunbrack, and this is Sam Zanders. So Dunbrack, oh, look at that. He's on the bench. Dunbrack.
17 games for Roger Dunbrack last year, had 3 sacks. His best season was definitely the year 2000, where he had 9 sacks. Mumford gets the strip, and he's done that a bunch in his career. And Dunbrack finally gets the handle and picks up some extra yards afterwards. Gives his team a golden opportunity for some points.
2nd and 7 for the Argonauts. Sanders again, and they'll come up well short of the first down after a 2-yard gain there. Sanders running into newcomer Tim Strickland, 38. Michael Jenkins was in that running back spot last year, and the All-Canadian at that position.
Trying out in the National Football League in Houston. And I talked to Jenkins on the sideline, said he's doing pretty well down there. So Sanders gets the chance to play and prove he can be a starter.
Noel Prefontaine was the punter for the Argonauts last season. This year, he gets double duty. Puts that one through to get even with Terry Baker. Both field goal kickers 1 for 1 in a 3-3 game at Skydome. It's the Argonauts' home opener tonight against Montreal.
Neon Green is ready to play. Are you? Play $1 Million Touchdown to win at Safeway. If your name appears, you've won. VTEX 2.4 gigahertz digital spread spectrum cordless phone with call waiting, caller ID, and digital answering system. Or a $400 Kelsey's gift card. Kelsey's Neighborhood Bar and Grill. It's that good. Swipe your club card at Safeway and play $1 Million Touchdown to win.
At Midas, we're known for total car care. Brakes, air conditioning, oil changes. There's almost nothing we can't do. Impressive.
Come in for great deals during the Midas National Brake Event. People have trusted their cars to Midas for over 40 years. And don't forget, Midas offers a lifetime nationwide guarantee. Midas. We do that.
Even though Jeep Grand Cherokee is more refined and civilized than ever, rest assured, it still hasn't lost its animal instincts.
You don't see Gary Etcheverry without a pencil behind his ear very often, do you? Debuting as the Argos head coach in their home opener tonight. John?
Well, this home opener is going to be a very important one, John. They've had a tough time with home openers the last 4 years. They've dropped them all. And incidentally, the last 3 have come at the hands of the Montreal Alouettes. It's been a combined score of 87-21. So this history is against them. They need this one in a big way.
Stokes returning for the Alouettes after the Argonaut field goal. Wrapped up at the 32. Jeff Johnson leading the Argo tacklers. Argonauts do have a tough schedule when you look at who they have to play. They lost to Winnipeg last week. They've got Montreal tonight, then on to BC, and 4 days later against the Eskimos.
Yeah, they get caught into what BC had to do right out of the gate, because talk about tough schedules. They maybe had the worst to start the season with 3 games in, I believe, 14 days, was it?
4 and 17 we had it figured out.
4 and 17, counting the preseason.
The preseason, right.
And you know, they go down 0-2 to start the regular season. So they had the tough start. Now it gets tough for Toronto.
Jumbo set for the Alouettes, and here's Lawrence Phillips. Kenny Kelly made the tackle there. Joe Montford, familiar in the number, but not necessarily the uniform. The outstanding defensive player in the country last year as a Tiger Cat. Drove down the highway, got a new contract, and he's an Argonaut now. When you look at Montford so far this season, he hasn't been as dominant, but Etcheverry explains it one way as saying he's still adjusting to the Argonaut style.
No question, it's a new system. He's playing beside a new player in Johnny Scott, which will, like I mentioned, get better and better as the year goes on, but we'll learn it all over again.
2nd and 6, the 5 receivers set. And Pat Woodcock had a tryout with the Giants.
And just a first-class gentleman, too, and I got a chance to talk briefly with Pat Woodcock after the BC game. in Montreal, wanted to come up and introduce himself and let me know who he was. And I said, you know, I saw you in this game today, and I have a feeling we'll be talking about you quite a bit throughout the season. Teammates love him. Jim Popp is ecstatic that he's here. Went to the Giants camp in the National Football League last year. He's a top-notch player. Not a big guy, but he plays big.
2 out for the Alouettes as Baker stands at his 23. Marcellus Turner, Tyree Davis. Deep for the Argonauts. Baker had one nearly blocked, or at least partially blocked earlier. And this one off the side of his foot, not deep. This is Turner. Takes a hit, and he finds the 50. Argonauts will have decent field position for a first down after a 30-yard punt, and that return by Marcellus Turner.
And welcome back to TSN Newsroom. I'm Dan Pollard, Sports Center, following the football game. And here's some of the stories we're working on for that next edition. James Duthie and myself will be along to inform you on Eddie the Eagle landing in Toronto. The Leafs introducing Eddie Belfour to the media, fans, and Brent Wallace as well. He'll have a full report on the day's activities. Jays and Red Sox in Boston, top of the first. Man on for Shannon Stewart, slaps one to right center. Dave Bird comes around to score. It's 1-0 Jays, and that's the way it remains right now in that game as it continues. Yankees and Indians also in action in the Bronx, top of 2. Travis Fryman takes David Wells the opposite way, 1-0 Cleveland. The Yankees have come back, though. It is 2-1 New York in the second inning. We'll also have highlights from Wimbledon, including a major upset on the women's side. And IRL President Tony George has denied Paul Tracy's appeal of the final results of the Indy 500. Helio Castroneves remains the race winner. We have more second quarter football action coming your way here on TSN.
You could win one of 10 Ford Explorers or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today. You could win one of 5 new Jaguars from Best Western or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today.
Aaron Miles was the Eastern Division rookie in 1998 when he broke into the league, and an All-Canadian in 99.
Perennial All-Star. Separated his shoulder and missed basically the entire season last year. But had 9 interceptions in the 2 years previous.
Sam Zanders has room to the outside. A nice move for Zanders. He's near the 50 and close to a first down.
Argos right now wanting to go with 2 backs. They put Sam Zanders in the game along with Sean Daniels, and maybe one of the reasons they're doing that is that the linebacking core for Montreal went through an injury, and Tim Strickland is playing one of the linebacker spots. And Tim Strickland is 5'10", 190 pounds. So you think that offensive coordinator Bill Dobson is looking to try and take advantage of the small linebacking core.
He must have an updated chart, because I had him at 5'9", 183, which is even worse.
Well, you can never tell by the charts that they hand out to you, because I always added 1.5 inches and about 10 pounds.
Well, 10 pounds a year.
Offside.
Well, yeah, you got to have a plateau.
First down.
10 pounds a year and you're on the D line.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing.
Ed Fillion was offside there. First and 10 at the Alouettes 46. The Argonauts are even with Montreal. A pump fake by Bishop. Rolling on the run. And Tyree Davis was the intended receiver, coming back for his quarterback.
Well, the good news is that Michael Bishop can move around long enough to buy himself some time, because he's going to move out this way to his right. The bad news for the Argos is once he does that, he basically only has one receiver to throw to, and that's up there Tyree Davis, who tries to come back. Bishop one-hops it to him. But once you are flushed out of the pocket like that as the quarterback, you basically limit your options to 1 or maybe 2 receivers at best.
Davis, a free agent arriving from Montreal. Passes to him. He comes back to make it. And after the catch, there is nowhere to go. Wrapped up by Perry Carter.
Tyree Davis needed about 3 blocks to make that work, and he only had one guy to help him out, and that was Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell tried to pick one guy up, but Mitchell goes out. He's the only guy that can really help him out on the blocking. So he comes up, working on Barron Miles. He's got his man, but there's a wave of Alouettes outside of Barron Miles. He needed a little more help on that play.
It really didn't develop all that well when you looked at what Bishop was looking at. There's the newcomer Keith Stokes. A couple of yards deep in the end zone. Prefontaine back across his 50. You get a left-footed kick away, and he kind of scrubs that one. The effect isn't bad, though. If the return can be limited, it's not. Asman couldn't get over to make the tackle. There's a flag down on the return. We'll check out the infractions when we get back. It was a 41-yard dribbler, 21 on the return. 1st and 10, Montreal when we return.
Finally! Yes! I win!
Congratulations. Tim Hortons Iced Cat. Totally creamy, totally cool.
Here's the holding on the return against the Alouettes, Stéphane Fortin. And that negates a nice return by Keith Stokes.
Stokes took out one of the dancers.
Alouettes begin inside the 5 with a first down. Nice move by Cavillo, looking for a target near side, and he overthrew the newcomer, Bobby Newcomb.
Anthony Calvillo moving the pocket around offensively, working in play action, and trying to make the Argonauts that defense on the run so that Joe Montfort doesn't have the straight pass rush lane to get to Anthony Calvillo. But Montfort has been a factor so far in this one, and you knew it wouldn't be long.
5 receivers set for the Alouettes, looking at 2nd and 10 inside the 5. Cavillo in some difficulty and had to throw it away, bouncing it out at the 6-yard line. And guess who was coming again? Joe Montfort.
Well, Montfort did a nice job of adjusting his angle on the fly. Once he came up the field, watch how he hides in the blitz. He's trying to disguise that. Now watch his angle here. Now puts on the brakes, adjusts his angle again to go more on a lateral position so that Calvillo can't get the corner on him. It's a very nice adjustment by Joe Montfort once the play had already started to develop. 96 quarterback sacks in the last 4 seasons, 21.5 a year. How about that?
Marcellus Turner standing back near midfield. Now, do the Alouettes think of giving up 2 here?
Well, Terry Baker hit some big punts versus BC, but I think that
39
the Argos either get 2 on the safety and the football,
or 3 coming back at minimum.
Yeah, or they get 3 minimum because they're in field goal position where they catch the ball, where Turner catches it. And that's exactly what they'll do.
Argonauts have the lead. Baker quickly down on one knee.
You know, usually when you're that deep in the end zone's 20 yards deep, and you're around the 15-yard mark, you're going to kick it. It's going to end up around your own 30 anyway. That's automatic field goal position. So Terry Baker gives up the single. If you're about your 5 or 2-yard line, too deep in the end zone,
well, you can get it up to the 40 and
50, and maybe get a defensive stand 2-0.
Around 9 minutes till halftime. The Argonauts have the lead, 5-3. A few moments in this one already. Dunbrack's return to set up the field goal for Toronto. Great night for football. Nice night to be on the sidelines, John.
Well, I'm here with Michael Jenkins, the recipient of the 2001 John Candy Memorial Award as the Argos MVP. And Michael, back in the city where you made a big splash, you got some kind of mixed feelings about being here again?
You know, it's great to be here to visit. It's great to be here to visit. You know, it's just wonderful what they're doing. Like seeing how the pregame went and everything. It's just an honor. You know, I told people before, I'm not worth it. Just send it to me. You know, it's just great.
You're now a Houston Texan. Just tell us how things have gone in minicamp for you.
you know, things have gone really good. We got a chance to get out there early, so everybody got a chance to learn the offense. And, you know, it's just been a blessing, and things been going real well for them.
What have you noticed that's been the biggest difference between what you experienced here in the CFL and what you have gone through in the NFL camps?
For the biggest thing I noticed is I caught my first couple passes 5 yards out of bounds. But, you know, it's just been really good to be out there. And, you know, I think that's my original game. And so, you know, I think the experience that I learned up here is so valuable for down there. And it's just a great experience.
Stan, thank you very much for this, Mike. We'll see you again.
Well, we won't forget Jenkins for a while, but Marcellus Turner turned a few heads with a nice 39-yard return, and the Argos are on the right side of the center field stripe for their offense at this point.
I love the comment. He got his first couple of passes in the NFL 5 yards out of bounds. Of course, the field is 65 yards wide up here and only 50 in the NFL.
Well, wish him luck down there. Michael Bishop got away from one. There's a target far side. Tyree Davis hangs onto the ball, but he's hurt.
He came down in an awkward position. It looked like as he was coming down, one of his legs kind of caught the turf.
Argonauts have already lost Stanley Jackson tonight.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Montreal number 8.
Montreal's going to get the penalty. Talked about that flag. Watch as Tyree Davis, his left leg gets caught and then drags. And that's the knee he grabbed immediately. That's the good news. He's going right back to the huddle. Tyree Davis over from the Montreal Alouettes.
Nice year last year, wasn't it?
4 seasons in Montreal. Had a great season last year. And those are his numbers over the 4 years in Montreal. 9 touchdowns.
874 of those last year.
A little bit of toughness there. Get up off the turf and get back in the game.
Penalty was against the Alouettes, so the Argonauts continue this drive, and that's Sam Sanders for 5.
You know, and it's important to have Tyree Davis in this lineup for the Argos simply because you need to find some help for Daryl Mitchell. And more importantly, you need to find a guy that can stretch the defense, and that means he has to have speed. Get the defensive backs in their back pedal. Get them back so that you can open up the area underneath to Daryl Mitchell and your teammates. And Tyree Davis certainly can do that and showed a bit of toughness there as well.
And good play to make the catch in front of Wayne Shaw, who is very close. 2nd and 5. Here's the ability athletically for Michael Bishop we talked about. Down to the 15. One of the things Echeverry did have to say yesterday that this guy was one of the real surprises because of incredible athletic ability.
Well, yeah, and he's going to take off outside to the left. Nice block at the point of attack. The turnaround, I believe it was Ed Fillion, and that opens up the outside for Michael Bishop. And again, he's a big, strong running back. A little bit like old Reggie Slack, but maybe with more speed.
Argonauts first down at the 15. Ball is lost. Sanders can't come up with it, and then Bishop dives into the pile. Who's got the ball?
You know,
Looks like the quarterback got it back.
John, I mentioned NFL Europe and how it's become a feeder system for both leagues in a lot of ways. And Michael Bishop was another guy who spent time in NFL Europe with Frankfurt last year. And while he was in Europe, he rushed for close to 8 yards per carry. That was his average, and we saw what he can do when he uses his legs.
Loss of a couple. Argonauts look at 2nd and 12. John Daniels turns the corner. He'll get the first down out near the 4.
Sometimes draw plays will surprise a defense, and sometimes if a draw play works, it's because it's well blocked. And I believe this was a ladder on this one because this is well blocked up front. Dwayne Morgan right here at the top of your screen. He has the nice kick down block there, and that gets Sean Daniels to the outside, and then he just lowers his shoulder on Perry Carter. You need that one block, and big Dwayne Morgan got it for him.
Daniels spent the last 2 seasons with the Eskimos in Edmonton. So here are the Argos, first down, goal to go, just inside the 4. Sanders gets halfway to the touchdown.
He dropped the ball again.
Ball comes loose, and the Alouettes say they have it. indication from the referee, Andre Proulx. So a couple of fumbles on the same sequence. And the Argonauts finally give it away, although it is deep inside Alouette territory.
2 straight fumbles and 2 touches for Sam Sanders.
Sanders puts it on the ground. The Alouettes first down when we return. The offensive coordinator of Saskatchewan in 2000 and then held the same position with the Lions last year. He was the defensive coordinator, I should have said.
He broke into the league with Don Matthews, like you mentioned earlier, with the Argos in '97. But Gary Etcheberry had a tough situation to work with in Saskatchewan. He had all rookie DBs, and in his system, that puts an awful lot of pressure on the DBs. And he had a tough start in Saskatchewan.
Cahoon out near the 15. That'll be enough for a first down.
Ben Cahoon gets the ball out of there in a hurry. Anthony Calvillo to Ben Cahoon, and you just have to trust and know that your receiver is going to be in that spot to release the ball that quickly from Anthony Calvillo.
Here are the numbers on the running backs. Lawrence Phillips, 5 carries, 21 yards. Mike Pringle, 2 carries, 16 yards. Bobby Newcomb. Nice run after the catch as Newcomb takes it back inside midfield and gets to about the 20-yard line.
No, and Michael Bishop was struggling. They went to that quick hitch pass to Tyree Davis. Calvillo going to that quick game now to try and get his offense rolling a little bit. He struggled a little bit. And give full credit to the Argonaut defense.
5 receivers set for Calvillo on 2nd and 5. Time to throw. He's got Phillips sliding out of the backfield. And Houston had him tied up. Martavius Houston had him cornered. There was nowhere to go. Dunbrack came in and helped out in bringing down Lawrence Phillips.
And now Calvillo will go with the hurry-up offense and try and get him lined up, call the play on the line of scrimmage. Martavius Houston, are they happy to have him back? He went and tried out the Redskins last year, and again, another situation where politics came into it. Apparently he had a very good camp.
Phillips had enough for the first down on the reception. This is Newcomb near side. Away from 1, away from 2. And finally brought down after he gained the first down near the 40. So
receivers catch that little hitch pass to the outside like Bobby Newcomb does. It's almost that they don't have to break tackles. They just have to be patient and let the tacklers kind of go by them. You remember Top Gun?
I do.
We'll just throw the brakes on and they'll fly right by.
You were always Tom Cruise. Hey, did you play the part?
Tom Cruise wannabe, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe a stand-in one day. 3-minute warning. We'll be back.
At the Coors Light Brewing Company, we employ a highly sophisticated field research team that's committed to bringing you an ice-cold, easy drinking taste. So, when you've got front row seats, we've got front row seats. When you're watching the game, we're watching the game. And when you're getting your eyebrow pierced, we're watching the game. Coors Light, why not take a silver bullet for the team?
You could win one of 10 Ford Explorers or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today. You could win one of 5 new Jaguars from Best Western or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today.
When you run to Rona, you're buying more than our hardware and building materials. You're getting the personalized service that comes with over 250 years of trust, know-how, and expertise by Canada's very own home improvement and building professionals. Now that's building on your imagination. Rona. Experience the difference.
Boys are ready for Wendy's at the half. Entertaining ball game thus far. with the Argonauts and the Alouettes. So don't forget to hang with us at halftime. Fans here at the stadium will see halftime presentation, including Canada's Amanda Marshall. Here's Cavillo. In a little difficulty, O'Shea tried to run him down. Got the pass away, and we'll have a first down. Cavillo finding Corey Grant, a speedster from Hamilton last year.
It's amazing what can happen and how a defense breaks down when one mistake. Mumford comes up and under, and when he decides to go underneath on this move on Azumo KK, he loses contain. Now the containment is gone. Calvillo forces Michael O'Shea to come out of containment, and when Michael O'Shea does that, his receivers open behind him.
Alouettes into a hurry-up offense here with a 5 receiver set in there, including Thomas Haskins. Phillips off tackle right for a couple of yards.
You know, it's interesting how it breaks down, because Mumford, and I say mistake, it wasn't necessarily a mistake for Joe Mumford, because he's often given the green light to make an inside pass rush move on a quarterback, which is exactly what he did to try and get to Calvillo. But as soon as he misses Calvillo, now that breaks down the defense, and O'Shea has to react to Mumford, and then Michael Fletcher, the safety, reacts to O'Shea's move, and it all kind of comes apart from there.
3 for Phillips, making this 2nd and 7. And that's Ben Cahoon, huge first down, and still standing as he crosses the 25, heading to the end zone. Ben Cahoon, he can't be stopped. Touchdown, Montreal. A couple of Argonauts had the opportunity, but it's a 53-yard touchdown. And Adrian Smith had the chance to save it. He could not.
Saw Ben Cahoon, John, in 2 ways. One off the line of scrimmage from the left of your screen. A good move as he gets inside position on Clifford Ivory. Now it's running with the ball after the catch. Makes Michael Fletcher miss. Orlando Steinauer runs into Ivory, and away goes Ben Cahoon for the touchdown. A great move at the line of scrimmage. Caught Clifford Ivory watching the quarterback.
That's the rookie Pat Woodcock helping out there as well, with a nice block to spring Cahoon the rest of the way. So now Cahoon will put a knee down, catch his breath, and hold for Baker's convert. So the Alouettes, on one big play, have a 10-5 advantage on the Argonauts.
The fans in Montreal love Ben Cahoon. In fact, as soon as Cahoon catches the ball, you can hear every fan in Montreal at a home game go, Cahoon! They love the guy, and why not? A great move right here to cut back and get some help from his other receivers. Pat Woodcock comes up there and puts enough of a block on Adrian Smith to get Ben Cahoon into the end zone. The move on the line of scrimmage just froze Clifford Avery. Over 800 yards last year for Ben Cahoon. Had a 1,000-yard season in 2000.
There's the drive. It took only 7 plays to travel 107 yards, and that happens when the touchdown run is 53.
Now Michael Bishop still has time with 1:50 left in this half to come back and put a drive together of his own. Maybe match it with a field goal. However, you know Michael Bishop hasn't taken a whole lot of reps in the hurry-up offense, at least not in game action.
Excellent drive for the Alouettes after the turnover. 7 yards after Sam Sanders fumbled the ball deep in Montreal territory. At the 3, this is Marcellus Turner. And he's wrapped up by the first man down, Eric Lapointe, who's made a couple of special teams tackles already tonight. Well, we'll see what this rookie quarterback is made of.
What a move by Ben Cahoon, and he's really, you know, every year a receiver has to find a way to improve his game. Cahoon's always had good speed and always had very solid hands, and now he's working on running in the open field once he catches the ball, and gets that much better as a receiver for the Owls.
Got the call, and he was tripped up, spilled after a gain of about a yard. So the Argonauts look at 2nd and 9 with 1:40 to go. And if they can't get a first down or 2 on this drive, the Alouettes are going to get the ball back with time.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, this Montreal offense has been a little crisper, has it not?
Well, it helped them when they went to the hurry-up offense, and that was the difference because they came out of the huddle and were struggling, and then Calvillo got in the hurry-up and moved it right down the field for the score.
Michael Bishop has it tipped at the line, so the Alouettes will have plenty of time to get into scoring position again just prior to the half. So the Alouette defense holds again. I've always liked the way 47 Stephen Reed plays, and Bishop back to the bench too.
53 tackles, 3 sacks, and an interception. Stephon Reed a year ago, and really the veteran in that core now. 8 years of experience for Stephon Reed, and they need that. They made some changes in Montreal on the defensive side of the ball.
Prefontaine deep and low. This is Stokes for the Alouettes. Caught by the first guy. He escapes that. Second wave of tacklers bring him down. Led by Kevin Eben. 16 on the return, 49 on the punts. And Ben Cahoon has the first touchdown of the evening. 809 yards last season.
Look
just one touchdown.
Look how open he was on Clifford Ivory. He was about 4 or 5 yards on inside position and down the field on Ivory, and just a tremendous move at the line of scrimmage, froze him. Ivory was in catch-up the rest of the way and couldn't catch up.
First down, Alouettes. Calvillo put that one into the turf. It bounced once to Mike O'Shea, looking for the little screen toss.
Joe Mumford kind of sniffed out that screen toss along with Michael O'Shea, and Mumford kind of held his ground because Joe Mumford, he saw this one coming. He uses spider sense right here. Joe watch 53. Instead of really going upfield aggressively, he kind of sits on the line of scrimmage and he says, no, I grabbed Lawrence Phillips. That's the guy you wanted to throw to. That's experience from Joe Mumford.
Second and 10, Alouettes. Early movement. That was Montford.
Well, actually, you know what it was. It's Montford offside, but it's Anthony Calvillo using the snap count to his advantage. They think because Calvillo is trying to move things along with 1:05 left that he'll go on first down, and Calvillo changes it up.
Offside, Toronto 53. Repeat second down.
So it spins to 2nd and 5.
Calvillo got Joe Montford hook, line, and rubbly-eyed wobbler. That's a fishing lure.
Yes, I knew it was.
Yeah.
Likely available at Canadian Tire.
Yeah, oh yeah.
2nd and 5. Calvillo has his target. Newcomb back short. Nice tackle by Martavius Houston.
Newcomb all the way across the field has a chance in a one-on-one situation with Martavius Houston for a first down for the Alouettes and possibly more points, but great open field tackle by Martavius Houston, and that is not easy. You got a lot of room to the outside, 24 yards from hash mark to sideline. That's how much room Newcomb had, and Martavius Houston got him to the ground somehow.
Less than a minute to go and a yard to go for the Alouettes, who will go for it at the 50-yard line. Calvillo. Didn't get it. Lawrence Phillips turned back by Montford and company.
And this just adds to the print writers are starting to create the controversy as much as they can now. I mean, this is where you want your running back to pick up a yard, and we know how many times Mike Pringle has done it in his career. And this is Lawrence Phillips with a chance. He puts the brakes on about 4 yards deep in the backfield.
No,
and that gave O'Shea a chance to get there. And a little penetration from Johnny Scott didn't hurt either.
So the Argonauts have 42 seconds to get to the Montreal end zone after the Alouette gamble fails. Lawrence Phillips stopped in his tracks, short of the yard he needed. What a fake. Nice fake. Bishop has room far side. And he'll get about 8 yards. Michael Bishop at quarterback for the Argonauts. Mark Megna over to make the tackle. So Bishop is in for the Argonauts with Jackson on the sideline. Wendy's Friday Night Football. We'll watch Danny McManus against Kahari Jones. Live from Winnipeg in the pregame show with the gang. beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Tomorrow night's Edmonton hosts Ottawa. And we'll have that too as Bishop picks up the first down. Now 21 seconds on the unofficial clock.
You know, I think at halftime, one guy that might go and talk to Michael Bishop is number 87, Daryl Mitchell. And Daryl Mitchell has been open by a couple of yards like that on a bunch of plays, trying to find some open areas as Michael Bishop tries to go in. And what Daryl Mitchell might do is take that card in there, right there, from 1998 and say, okay, here's what I did in 1 year. Try and throw me the ball a little bit. We might have some success.
And also point out that he's a 4-time CFL All-Star and a 3-time All-Canadian. Daryl Mitchell.
Yeah, and one way to do that, you can say, well, maybe it's the Montreal defense, but one way to do that is to put Daryl Mitchell in a one-on-one. In other words, try and get all of the receivers to one side.
Please reset the clock to 21 seconds. Please reset the clock 21 seconds.
Try and get Daryl Mitchell in a one-on-one situation and then just lock right in on him and see, in a one-on-one, he's awful tough to cover. He pushes the DB off. Look at the room he's got right there. You see how much room? That's about 4 or 5 yards. If the ball's on its way, Mitchell has a chance to catch it, turn around, and put a one-on-one move on Baron Miles.
You're on a hold now.
So it'll be 1st and 15. Argonauts pushed back to the Alouette 50. Enough time to get close for a field goal. Enough time to score a touchdown here. Nice pick. A little too far. Looking for Mitchell that time.
Well, you know, this is a lot closer game than the score would indicate at 10-5. You know, like, because that Montreal one rush, or one drive, I should say, is really the difference in this game, because it's been a seesaw battle. For the first quarter, Montreal played in the Argos half of the field. And in the second quarter, really, the Argos have been in Montreal's half with the exception of one drive.
And the one big play
to Cahoon.
Cahoon for 53 yards and a touchdown.
53 of the 163 Calvillo has thrown in one play. Watch out.
Won't get it away.
That's Conley.
He broke away. Found Chad Plummer.
Jude St. John. Oh, my goodness. Threw a huge hit. And my goodness. Watch number 66. We're going to try and sift this up for you. Jude St. John for the Argos. Good strength here by Michael Bishop. And watch out. Jude St. John is coming back here. Watch this hit. This is what this game is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Hello.
Adriano Belle, welcome to the Canadian Football League from Jude St. John. Whoa. I took most of the time off the clock, and the Argos won't have an opportunity. Kick for 3.
Jude St. John over there, he loves that one. He'll cut that little piece of tape up for the trophy cake. Keith Stokes, watch out. He's close on every play. Don't you get that feeling?
I get the feeling that he's a keeper, no doubt about it. Stokes is a rookie out of East Carolina. And there was another great kick returner in Canadian football who came out of that university, was there not? One more time for Jude St. John, so everybody in the St. John household can roll a tape on this. Jude will want to see that when he gets home. And almost a connection from Michael Bishop to Chad Plummer that could have set up a chance for the field goal. There's the story at halftime. Hang on, the gang's waiting for you.
At the Half is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's Classic Double with Cheese is made fresh right when you order it. It's better here.
Yes, indeed. We're right here. Welcome back to the Wendy's CFL Live studio. Dave Randorf along with Jock Climby and Matt Dunnigan and Chris Schultz. You know, after Michael Bishop played last week in Winnipeg, he said, throw out my stats. I know I can play. And this game, you'll see a completely different player. And so far, he's had the boys in the panel kind of coming out of their seats in a couple of different plays. It's the biggest development so far of this very close game. Stanley Jackson going down, Bishop coming in, and right away these guys started watching for A, how Toronto would deal with it, Matty, and B, how Montreal would go after him to try to exploit it.
Yeah, this situation has definitely got us all talking here in the panel. I was talking to Chris, and he's saying, boy, I'd pressure Bishop right away. I said, Chris, you can live and die by the sword there in that situation, because all the quarterback has to do is recognize what he sees and play pitch and catch. In this situation, Michael Bishop, he sees blitz. You can see 8 people here on the line of scrimmage. That's pretty easy for me to see. Something's up here. Michael knows it, and he goes back into a kind of like a half sprint, and he just brace contain here. And can you say, see ya? He's down the field and using his legs. This is great athletic ability by this young quarterback. So, Chris and I say, hey, you can get burnt by the sword in a hurry, Chris, with that situation, either by the pass or with this kid's legs.
Well, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a very young Nealon Green. Remember Nealon Green, how he could make things happen when he was out of the pocket? And it's not so much that Michael Bishop is scrambling, but he is so fast that he can outrun pursuit angles. And I defer to you, Matty. You're right, because if you pressure him too much, he makes one big play. So then what's the alternative? Keep him in the pocket to the best of your ability, because you have to be able to pass rush but stay in your lane. Because if you give him those seams, hey, I tell the kid, go, go, go. He's that type of an athlete, John.
No, exactly right. And keep him in the pocket is the key, which is why Matt and I were talking in between the quarters about how you need to get this guy out of the pocket. Let him roll and stretch the field. The toughest thing you can do is ask a young quarterback just to drop straight back. So what do? Sure enough, they call in the bootleg. And what a great athletic play this is by Bishop. Here he's rolling out, and I'm thinking at this stage, just get rid of the football. He makes a great athletic move here, and now I'm just thinking throw it out of bounds, and he throws a strike to Tyree Davis on the sideline for a huge first down. This is a foreshadowing of things to come as far as I'm concerned. This guy has looked really good. I saw him in preseason. I thought he was a little bit looking to run a little too often, and all of a sudden here he's looking to throw the ball.
What about Montreal? It's a close game, Shelton.
Well, I think Montreal just has to stick to what they're doing. I mean, they had a 7-play drive for over 100 yards and ended up in a touchdown. The strength to me for them is that single back set with the 5 receivers. So different from last year when they had the 2 backs. If they get their receivers in space, then those kids can run, because they've got some great athletes with the football as long as you get them in timing so they can run after the catch.
Yeah, I think Montreal did the right thing late in the second quarter there, Chris, by going to the hurry-up offense. They got in a good rhythm. You saw Anthony Calvillo start to feel his oats and start to move the ball around and did a super job of taking the tempo to Toronto. I could hear Ted Gill, defensive coordinator for the Alouettes, in the locker room right now going, stay in your lanes, fellas.
Yeah.
Stay in your lanes. Control this quarterback.
And if it wasn't for one big play by Ben Cahoon, I think this game is wide open.
Well, really, when you consider the Argonauts fumbled it inside the Montreal 5, Montreal goes all the way back down the field, capped off by this play right here by Ben Cahoon. And that's the difference, folks. A little closer than maybe y'all thought. 10-5 at the half.
Time for the TSN Playbook trivia question. Who was the first CFL quarterback to pass for 600 or more yards in a regular season game? Sam Echeverry, Matt Dunnigan, or Danny Barrett? Stay tuned to this program for the correct answer and play.
When you run to Rona, you're buying more than the experience of Rona Cashway, Rona Lansing, Rona Revy, and Rona. You're getting the personalized service that comes with over 250 years of trust, know-how, and expertise by Canada's very own home improvement and building professionals. Now that's building on your imagination. Rona. Experience the difference.
Problem with razor burn? The new Extreme 3 from Schick balances 3 blades on a central pivot for a close, comfortable shave. The Extreme 3. Get close, not burned.
How would you like to win $100,000 or other cash prizes from CIBC? Floored? The more you save in your CIBC personal account between June 1st and July 31st, the more chances you have to win during the CIBC Stash Your Cash and Win event. Other ways to enter include opening a CIBC Wave account. Great for everyday banking. Enter today to win with CIBC.
A midsummer feast of baseball, the All-Star break. It's all about the grand old game.
It's goods, man.
We run up to this year's classic with 5 days of the very best from the games and the Home Run Derby.
Oh,
Major League Baseball All-Star Special starts Sunday on ESPN Classic Canada, where the legends come to play.
This day in the CFL, brought to you by SportCheck.ca, Canada's choice for sports.
July 3rd, 1987, Ottawa taking on the hometown Blue Bombers. First quarter action, Todd Dillon hits fullback Jim Reed for the 8-yard score. Rough Riders led by 3, but it was all Winnipeg after that. Tom Clements hits James Murphy, and Murphy goes 31 yards for the Major. Bombers led 20-13, and they keep it coming as Willard Reeves takes the handoff and goes 41 yards. He's almost caught at the goal line, but he's in. Winnipeg wins it 31-16.
And welcome back. We're looking at a 5-point ball game at the Sky Dome with the Alouettes with the 10-5 lead. Just one touchdown to talk about, Matty. Take us through it.
Yeah, well, we saw Michael Bishop being pressured by the Alouette defense. And let me show you what the Toronto defense does to certainly Anthony Calvillo. Very simple. Vintage Gary Echeverry defense. You see the pressure out here. Big holes here. Anthony knows he's got Ben Cahoon on this side. So what does he do? He knifes the ball in there for the first score, and then Ben Cahoon takes it the rest of the way. Veteran quarterback seeing a veteran receiver. Then Ben Cahoon does the dipsy doodle all the way to the end zone, making like a water bug here. Getting a much-needed touchdown there and some momentum. What I see here is Montreal getting in the hurry-up offense, once again getting a good tempo, and they took advantage of that situation.
You know, with Lawrence Phillips, we were talking about him off the top of the show. When you call yourself the best player in the league, you better convert on 3rd and 1, Schultz, and the Argonaut defense stuffed them.
Yeah, they really did. But at the same time, I understand what Matt is saying, because if you do have a matchup opportunity, you should try to get it. But, hey, you've got 2 running backs, and both of these running backs are great acceleration power running backs. Use it. If I was Montreal, the first 2 series of the second half, I'd commit to my offensive line and say, guys, we're going to try to establish a line of scrimmage and try to get really Toronto out of their system just by playing physical football, because you can see that Anthony Calvillo, when they drop a lot of people, is hesitating a little bit. So I'd get back to the physical style based on the ability of my running backs.
Yeah, and exactly right. And I think Toronto's defense is playing great. I mean, I think we've been talking about this. It's really fantastic the way they're playing compared to last week, where I think in Winnipeg they got run up pretty good.
Yes,
and but for that Cahoon play, Montreal's done nothing, and their offense looked very ordinary.
His problem now is he's only got 1 football, and he's got all this talent around him, and he's able to use it. And I think use it better in a hurry-up offense. Get some tempo going, Dave.
All right, we could let you guys go on forever here, but the bottom line is Amanda Marshall's far better looking than all of you. Let's go back live to Sky Dome. Amanda Marshall live at halftime. Matt, you ever woke up with a snake tattoo?
No, I woke up with a pair of pants like that either.
Oh, my God. Hey, if you want to get out and check out not only some great CFL action, but quality halftime entertainment like Amanda Marshall, get out to the ballpark, jot down the numbers, and go on out there. We got lots more right after this.
Summer in Dublin, Ohio, where you can count on 2 things, mosquitoes and garage sales.
You know that's one of a kind.
Half the town is buying.
This must be one of a kind.
And the other half is selling.
It's one of a kind.
And with the money we save, we go to Wendy's for the super value menu. Everything is just $1.39. Junior bacon cheeseburgers, made Dave's way, cold drinks, hot fries. It's the best $1.39 you can spend.
One of a kind.
The super value menu at Wendy's. It's better here. And remember, you can eat great, even late.
Visit the Pepsi Taste Tour booth this summer, and you could win tickets to see Sum 41 in an exclusive concert.
Situation, never what you want it to be. Can anybody find me somebody to love? He works hard every day of my life. I work till I ache my bones. At the end of the day, I take home my hard-earned pay all on my own. Somebody. Can anybody find me somebody to love?
Here are the halftime numbers brought to you by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed. What do you see, Jock Climbing?
Well, the biggest difference on that stat board right there is the passing yardage. Look at Toronto, 31 yards compared to 163. They're pretty even on first downs. They're pretty even time possession. But obviously, Bishop's team's going to start throwing the ball.
Don Matthews has the 5-point lead. He had a little visit with our John Lou.
A lot about wanting to pass the ball, but the Argos weren't giving a whole lot. How much do you, or how much was Ben Cahoon's touchdown important for your momentum?
Well, you know what, we're just starting to figure him out a little bit right there. That was a great dive by Anthony. He made a lot of completions on that drive, and then it was finished off with Ben. But hopefully we're going to be able to figure him out a little bit more in the second half.
What adjustments do you need to make to contain Michael Bishop's mobility? This is the first time you're seeing him.
Well, you know, we just have to play good, solid, disciplined football, and we'll be all right.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
And while he gets ready for the second half, we'll enjoy a little bit more live. Amanda Marshall, you are watching Wendy's CFL Live.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. New thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
Breakthrough technology brought to you by the all-new Cadillac.
General Motors today has a policy of fostering innovation.
Robert Lutz, Vice Chairman, General Motors, on innovation.
Innovation is important for any organization because the world is constantly moving on. People who question the system are like the grain of sand in an oyster that irritates and irritates, but that's what produces the pearl. And I think senior leaders have to constantly stress the fact that it's okay to challenge the status quo. It's okay to occasionally say that the emperor has no clothes. And if we don't understand that, then we're going to become non-competitive, and that's true for institutions, it's true for corporations, it's true for societies.
First reconfigurable luxury SUT. Cadillac Escalade EXT. Breakthrough.
Hey guys.
my way from misery to happiness today. I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. I'm on my way.
I am Canadian.
The lid on Skydome is open. It's a perfect night for football. The Argonauts and the Alouettes kicking off the home season of the Argos. An interesting first half, to say the least.
That was a very even first half until the one drive by Anthony Calvillo that was capped off by Ben Cahoon on a 53-yard touchdown catch. So Gary Echeverry played pretty well and should be happy considering he's played with his backup quarterback Michael Bishop the entire first half.
Since the second play of the first half when Jackson went down. Don Matthews in town with the Montreal Alouettes for the first time, and he coached the Argos on 2 separate occasions. He has the lead. The quarterbacks stack up like this.
3-7, only 7 pass attempts by Michael Bishop. Now he did drop back or roll out more than that, however, elected to run with the football, and that's what he'll do until he can figure out this defense that Montreal's throwing at him.
And all 3 receptions made by Tyree Davis for the Argonauts.
Got to find a way to get Daryl Mitchell involved in that offense as well.
Ready for the second half kickoff. Noel Prefontaine. Keith Stokes, number 6. A couple of electrifying runs so far. There's a flag down on this return already. He's out to the 33 and wrapped up there by a couple of Argonauts.
That was what Anthony Calvillo did in the first half with all his possessions. Couple of turnovers. Did have that one drive for a touchdown. Ben Cahoon, 53 yards. And he was in the hurry up when he had that drive.
An illegal block.
Montreal 39. First down.
Harvey Staples. So the Argonauts will have the Alouettes pinned back at the 10-yard line to begin this first possession.
Ben Cahoon very close already in a half of football because of that one play I just mentioned on a 100-yard evening.
Alouettes will look at this 5-receiver set much of the season. At least that's the plan for now. Here's Lawrence Phillips for about 5 out across the 15. Phillips failed in the first half on 3rd and 1. One of the turnovers forced by the Argonauts.
You know, when you watch Lawrence Phillips, he's so smooth with the ball. Different style than Mike Pringle. Mike Pringle will rather run over a tackler than around him, whereas Phillips will try and slice by him. Phillips, they both have the ability to do the opposite. In other words, Pringle can go around and Phillips can go through. But if they had their choice, Phillips would try and make a move.
2nd and 5, Pat Woodcock, a newcomer to the near side. Calvillo looks the other way, and now back to the near side of the field. Calvillo takes off. And he'll have plenty for the first down. A great run by Calvillo, still standing. What a brilliant run by Anthony Calvillo, who couldn't find a receiver open and took off himself.
It's interesting, Lawrence Phillips, everyone was dropping for the Toronto Argonauts, and that's because it was a one-on-one pass rush, just 4 rushers for the Argos, and OKK was blocking up Roger Dunbruck, so he couldn't get in there.
Add it all up, Glenn, and this is a 24-yard gain.
Roger Dunbruck and Zumo KK, the one-on-one.
Lawrence Phillips escaping again, breaks one tackle there. There's one man to catch him. Far side. And Antonius Bonner got there.
And that's what I'm talking about Lawrence Phillips in the open field trying to make a move and make a guy miss. Watch as he hits this hole and watch how quick his feet are. Up in the hole, bounce to the outside. One more cut to the outside.
He'll make you miss and does so for 45 yards. Bonner got over to make the tackle. But this Alouette drive began back at the 10-yard line. And the Owls are set up at the 25,
Pringle had just 2 carries for 16 yards, and that obviously a big run for Lawrence Phillips totals.
Now Pringles gets his chance. And not quite as successful as Phillips was on the previous run that covered 45. Flags are down. We'll check it out. Numbers for Mike.
One season over 2,000 yards rushing for Mike Pringle. Mentioned earlier in the show, 1,700 yards he has averaged in the 7 years as a starter.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Toronto number 12. First
Adrian
down.
Smith called on the unnecessary roughness. By the way, I mentioned George Reed. He did it in longer time than Pringle has to this point. Pringle, of course, in second behind Reed, but I didn't mention the year. George Reed played 13 years. Went back and looked it up quickly.
Good stuff. Here's Cavill. Ran before. Will he run this time? Well, not as successfully as the last time he got his hands on the ball for a 24-yard gain. And that one will total up to 0. Receivers covered again. Strength of this Argonaut team, when you look at the personnel involved, has to be on defense. It's a work in progress offensively with 2 rookie quarterbacks to work with, and I include Stanley Jackson in that because he really doesn't have a great deal of CFL experience. The key defensively is number 50.
Well, you got your middle linebacker with 10 years of CFL experience, 6 with the Toronto Argonauts. He knows Gary Echeverry's system well. That's why he's allowed to call the plays, and he's the anchor in the middle, and then Johnny Scott, Joe Mofford up front, Roger Dunbruck, and wow, Gary Echeverry has all the tools in his toolbox. Now he just has to use them properly and make sure that they all know exactly what's being asked of them. That's Darryl Adralin, his assistant, right beside him.
Player down at the 25 for the Alouettes. Amanda Marshall, a great halftime addition here at Sky.
She sounded great. Now, I don't know a whole bunch of Amanda Marshall tunes, but I'm sure my daughter will. And that's the idea, is to get the young crowd in. And
there's the number to call for Argo tickets. It's been a fun night here so far. Big Joe and the Argonauts hanging on against Montreal on Wendy's CFL Live.
Marcus Crandall is ready to play. Are you? Play Safeway $1 Million Touchdown to win. If your name appears, you've won a DVD, CD, VHS player recorder from JVC or Sultan's Combo Health Grill and Rice Cooker Plus. Shop at Safeway today.
A lot of folks still think they can't get the sunglasses they love and the prescription they need. But at LensCrafters, we have all the new 2002 styles like Ray-Ban and Vogue available in your prescription. Come in and see. Are you lucky enough to need glasses?
At 8 a.m., I'm John the chauffeur. 9 a.m., the district manager. At 8 p.m., the storyteller. But at 6 a.m., I'm John. John Redden, Power Bar user since 1995.
Kahari Jones is ready to play. Are you? Play $1 Million Touchdown to win at Safeway. Get a bonus entry when you buy Heinz Ketchups, Nestle Ice Cream, or Kellogg's Vector Energy Bars. Shop at Safeway today.
Ben Cahoon, 86, has scored the Alouette touchdown tonight. Here's what happened to him on the last play.
I'm amazed that he's still in. Watch what he does to his right ankle as he tries to cut inside here. Watch that right ankle. Bam! Right there, he rolls on it. He's still in the game.
Second down, almost 10 to go for Cavill. Looks for the touchdown toss. Won't get it this time. Good coverage on Bobby Newcomb.
Antonius Bonner turned right when he had to. It was perfect timing by Antonius Bonner because Newcomb was hoping from the right of your screen over here that Antonius Bonner wouldn't turn around in time, but he gets those shoulders around, actually has a better shot at the football than Bobby Newcomb.
Bobby Newcomb, a rookie out of Nebraska. He was the starting quarterback there for a couple of years until he got injured. Came back as a receiver and a kick returner. Here's Terry Baker. And the Alouettes have another 3. It's Wendy's CFL Live from Skydome. And the Alouettes are on top by 8, 13-5.
Posted pop-up notes pop up one at a time from the handy dispenser. Now you'll always know where your Post-it notes are. So you won't go nuts looking for nuts. Post-it pop-up notes. And now look for these new dispensers in cool colors. Another 3M innovation.
We would like to invite everyone to the IKEA summer sale event. Unless you're making over $200,000 a year. That would mean you are very rich, and we must ask that you do not come. You do not need to save up to 50% on select items throughout the store. You obviously have enough money to purchase IKEA items at the regular everyday low price. The IKEA summer sale event, June 19th through July 7th.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. New thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Wendy's CFL Live. Gary Echeverry in a real battle with the Montreal Alouettes here tonight. In his debut on home turf as head coach of the Argos. An 89-yard drive results in an Alouette field goal and increases Montreal's lead to 8. Marcellus Turner. And it's taken by Jeff Johnson. Next, Tiger Cat looks for room outside and actually lost a few on the return. Reggie Durden made the tackle there, and here's John Lou on the sidelines with another famous face in the crowd.
Well, John, I'm here with Toronto Raptors superstar Vince Carter. Vince, I know that Martavius Houston is a good friend of yours, but aside from that connection, how big a CFL fan are you?
I'm a pretty big fan. Dave Haggett, who used to work for me now, is working with the Argos also. So, you know, and plus they're a local team, and I'm here. I always give the support to all the local teams if I can.
Basketball fans all over the world are wondering what's the condition with your knee. How's the rehab going?
Oh, I'm good. I could play football right now if I had to. I'm back. I'll be ready to play for the season. And right now, my focus is August 2nd, which is my charity game.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about your charitable efforts. The charity game, and you got the camps all throughout the summer. How are things this year?
Yeah, it's going well. You know, it's been hindered, of course, with the injury, but yet we're still looking forward. We're still going to get it done. And I'm looking forward to the camp and the game and everything that's coming with it, with all the festivities, and I'm definitely going to take part in all of it.
Okay, thank you very much for this, Vince. Best of luck with your endeavors this summer.
All right, Suter, where do you slide Vince Carter into this?
Well, you know what I do? I put the shoulder pads and helmet on him right now, put him at slot back, and just throw a jump ball to him. I have a feeling he can just sky up in the air and grab it.
Slide him over the middle. First down and 15. It was a call against the Argonauts, and this running game is not working very well. Sam Sanders, who's fumbled a couple of times tonight. And there have been a couple of bounce passes on this turf tonight.
Well, a couple of alley-oops. Argonauts with another injury.
That's Sandy Annunziata being tended to down there.
Well, Sandy Annunziata down. They do have Thomas Ram here, and they do have John Terry here, signed as free agents after being released from their teams, Saskatchewan and Calgary, respectively, but they're not dressed. They're going to have to go with a backup in Corionet. Well, Ram is.
Ram started, but
not
John Terry.
John
He just
Terry.
arrived, so and Ram hasn't been here all that long.
Corionet, first-round draft pick this year, or last year, I should say, out of Eastern Michigan, is a backup.
And the head coach is out looking after one of his players and having a peek and drawing up the play that will be necessary to get the Argos out of their zone.
Want a close shave while avoiding razor burn? The new Extreme 3 from Schick balances 3 blades on a central pivot for a close, comfortable shave. Extreme 3. Get close, not burned.
Time for the TSN Playbook trivia question. Who was the first CFL quarterback to pass for 600 or more yards in a regular season game? Sam Etcheverry, Matt Dunnigan, or Danny Barrett? Stay tuned to this program for the correct answer and play.
Well, there's the good news as we come back to Skydome, and Unziata heads off under his own power. But the Argonauts have to make some adjustments along that offensive line.
Thomas Rambo to tackle. Here's Swatsky plays the guard.
Bishop looks at second and 11. This could be it. The biggest play of the night for the Toronto Argonauts. That's the newcomer, Chad Plummer.
And a very accurate throw from Michael Bishop, who put just enough air under it. Michael Bishop has a very strong arm, no question about it, but sometimes as quarterback you want to put enough air under it so your receiver can run under it. He just puts a little air on this ball. He has pressure on him right in his face. You see the safety there. William Loftus tries to cut underneath the ball, but the air underneath it gave the receiver a chance, Chad Plummer, to run under it.
47 yards the gain for Plummer and the Argonauts, set up at the 50-yard line. Bishop to his left. He's got the angle, and he'll come up a little shy of the first down, but a good run, a good sprint out for Bishop, brought down by Reggie Durden.
Well, Plummer just going right down the seam. And what he wants to do on the left side, this is the seam coming right here. And watch how Loftus cuts underneath and then realizes that there's more air on the ball than he thought. If that ball is thrown in a line, William Loftus is right there for the interception. Because it had air under it, he got undercut by Plummer.
Gain of 7. This is 2nd and 3 Argonauts. Trailing by 8. First down, Tyree Davis. The main target of Michael Bishop and the only target of Michael Bishop in the opening half.
Well, Bishop is mixing up the plays, throwing the short game. He went deep once. That whenever you go deep and have success like they did with Bishop to Chad Plummer, the defensive backs in general will take about another step off you. And then when they take that step backwards, that's when you can start to hit that short game underneath, which they did on the next play to Tyree Davis.
Another Argonaut first down just outside the 35. Bishop won't get it away this time. Wrapped up by Fillion.
Ed Fillion, of course, is the guy who knocked Stanley Jackson out of the game early. And, you know, this was set up to be a screen pass. And really, Chad Folk was just going to hit him and let him go. There's Fillion right there. Watch how he's just blocked briefly and then let go by Chad Folk because it's a screen pass. Bishop's got to get rid of that ball, but he had no one to throw to because Tim Fleiser had dropped off.
2nd and 19 for Bishop and the Argos. Solid throw. And Mitchell has his first catch of the night. Daryl Mitchell, leading Argonaut receiver almost every year, had 76 for 1,376 yards last year.
Not the first time that Daryl Mitchell has been open. The first time he's seen the ball, because he's had about that much room on a bunch of plays. And when you look at the all-time catches in 1 year, look how far Daryl Mitchell is ahead of the next guy, which is Alan Pitts. 160 catches, over 2,000 yards that season.
We talked about his all-Canadian status 3 times, 4 times a division all-star. And there's another wounded Argo out there back near the 50-yard line. Jude St. John. Heat may have a little bit to do with these injuries here at Skydome tonight.
Marcus Crandall is ready to play. Are you? Play $1 Million Touchdown to Win at Safeway. Get a bonus entry when you buy assorted Bix Pickles or Mott's Clamato Juice. You could win a DVD, CD, VHS player recorder from JVC, Sultan's Combo Health Grill and Rice Cooker Plus, Or win an all-inclusive trip for two from SunQuest to the beautiful Rio Jalisco Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. Swipe your club card at Safeway today.
You could win one of 10 Ford Explorers or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today. You could win one of 5 new Jaguars from Best Western or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today.
At Midas, our knowledgeable technicians love cars. It's all we think about. Sad.
Come in for great deals during the Midas National Brake Event. People have trusted their cars to Midas for over 40 years. And don't forget, Midas offers a lifetime nationwide guarantee. So stop by any Midas today. Midas, we do that.
This Argonaut drive might have been a little more impressive had it not been for the sack by Ed Fillion. It began at the 14, and 64 yards later, the Argos are set to try a field goal.
And it's a very important drive. One, because it's a close enough game that a field goal is very important, but maybe most importantly is because that defense got a chance for 7 plays to sit over on the bench and catch their breath.
Noel Prefontaine made his first tonight from 21. This from 40. And he's wide. Stokes returning out across the 5. And Prefontaine trying to run him out of bounds. Stokes still going and finally caught from behind. Kevin Even.
You got the feeling that Keith Stokes, I should say, was going to break one in this game at some point in the preseason. In one game versus Hamilton, he had 321 all-purpose yards and took back a missed field goal the distance.
116 yards on that missed field goal return.
And they are excited about Keith Stokes, who may be the next big-time returner in the Canadian Football League.
Great return, covering 62 yards for Keith Stokes. And look where the Alouettes are now, just inside the Montreal 50, shotgun formation. Leo has to get out of there, and does so effectively. He'll have the first down, turning the corner there in front of Martavius Houston. Highlights of this and everything else coming up on SportsCenter with Duffy and Pollard when we're done tonight. Little hockey talk too. Have you noticed they talk a little hockey in this town?
Well, apparently there's a new goalie in town or something.
Well, the old goalie left, and it's almost a crisis, Glenn.
You know the thing about the NHL, just you never know who's on your team year to year. How many times have you heard that?
Bulldog to the ground.
Wow,
there could have been a face mask involved in the tackle.
Did Mike Fletcher get that face mask?
I don't know, but I mean the flag went down right in that area. I thought he got him by the shoulder pads, actually.
Mike Fletcher did a little Vince Carter over the top of the pile to try and get to Lawrence Phillips. I don't know, though. It looked like he had his hands on the shoulder pads of Phillips and just pulled him down from behind almost. Apparently the officials think different. Taylor spins back.
Major foul.
Face mask.
Face mask. Toronto number 2.
Oh, no, he did get it. Yeah, he did get it with the left hand.
Left hand.
Well, the fans don't like it, but it was a good call by the official. I didn't even see it, and we have the chance up here. A very good view.
9 penalties against the Argos for 72 yards, and this one sets up the Alouettes at the 35 first down. Montreal with the lead. Here's Phillips again. Took a good hit and kept moving. The hit from Michael Fletcher.
Interesting matchup going on out there right now. That big offensive line from Montreal with Azumo Keke working one-on-one with Joe Mumford most of the night. And Mumford in the first quarter was a bit of an influence in the game, and now he's been quieted again. And Okeke has been the reason for that.
Another Alouette first down. Lawrence Phillips closing in on 100. From the Argonaut 25 over the middle. Catch made as Thomas Haskins lost a few, but he'll have enough for the first down. Haskins cut back and couldn't turn it upfield again.
Zumo KK that time drew Roger Dunbrook in the defense, but Roger Dunbrook did not get more than a yard upfield on that play. Watch number 63, Azumo KK, right here on 53 on Roger Dunbrook. Dunbrook about a yard off the line, and that's as far as he's going.
Cahoon is out of this offensive scheme for the Alouettes, and the newcomer Keith Stokes is in. This is Mike Pringle, turns the corner, has a couple. Martavius Houston forced him out.
1999 outstanding lineman. Started his career in Shreveport back in 94, 95. Shreveport, you say? Yeah. If you're just tuning in, Shreveport had a team in the Canadian Football League many years ago, and thank goodness no longer does.
And if you wanted steamy nights, you went to Shreveport. You think this is a little sticky?
Well, that's where he started, and putting together a very good night here for the Montreal Alouettes.
Gain of 1. 2nd and 9 Alouettes. From the 11. Newcomb made the catch inside the 5. But he'll be short of a first down.
It's all about positioning. Receiver right there against defensive back Antonius Bonner, and if you can get inside position, then you can see how quick of a throw it can be for the quarterback Anthony Calvillo. If he has that target, the big target right in there, he just can drill that ball, and it's the easiest throw in the game. Antonius Bonner, what he has to try and do to battle that is to get up and be physical with Bobby Newcomb and not allow him the easy lane to the inside. Try and force him to go outside and down the field.
Well, the jumbo team is in on 3rd down and 2 to go. Alouettes at the Argonaut 4. Power run here. 3rd down gamble failed for the Alouettes earlier. Lawrence Phillips will not get it this time. I do not believe.
I don't know.
Argonauts claim that they have stopped Lawrence Phillips for the 2nd time tonight.
Well, if they've done it, you've got to thank Johnny Scott, because Johnny Scott before the play had to get everybody lined up right, and then he had to get back in his stance, and his position on the field happened to be the exact hole that Lawrence Phillips was trying to run to. Johnny Scott looked down the line of scrimmage, and he went, look at this guy right here. He's going, hey, back up, you're offside. Okay, now I'm getting my stance. Now I'm ready, and guess where they're running? They're running right at me. He jammed his hole, and then everybody else got lined up and got in there to hold Lawrence Phillips.
Not very often you see one of the defensive linemen make sure everyone is in perfect sync down there, but Johnny Scott did it there, and that likely saved a first down
and maybe a touchdown.
Yeah.
And if Johnny Scott talks, you listen.
Alouettes give it away. Argonauts have a first down. Here's Bishop looking down the side. Morreale can't one-hand it. He was forced out of bounds by the coverage down there.
And Perry Carter did a nice job. If that's what I'm talking about having the defensive back forcing the receiver to the outside rather than allowing him inside position. What's Scott again? This is great. This is great leadership. Get back. You're 1 yard in the line, and that's a CFL rule. And then he comes, oh, great. They're running right at me.
And he had to get set and make
I'll tell you what,
stop, or at least help make the tackle.
That's a big-time play by Johnny Scott.
2nd and 10, Argonauts at the 4. Key play for Bishop here. Connected on one long one tonight. And it's intercepted this time. Baron Miles picks it off inside the Toronto 25.
Well,
ill-advised.
That's just a mistake by a very young quarterback trying to make something out of nothing, because Baron Miles was standing right beside Chad Plummer when Michael Bishop let this ball go. And remember, Bishop was flushed out of the pocket. So, at this point, you're in your own end zone. As a young quarterback, you really try to cut your losses. We punt the ball. Our defense got some momentum for us rather than force this throw into coverage. And then, to throw it out of bounds into row 7. Or you take the loss and the injury. You don't want to do that, so you get rid of the football. And look at the coverage of Baron Miles. He's right there. He's right beside him the entire time. So now after a defensive play by Johnny Scott, you put your defense back in a very tough situation to have them come out on the 20-yard line and have to come up with another big stand.
And there's another Argonaut offensive lineman down on the turf. Chad Folk is resting near the 12-yard line. And I don't know if Vince Carter is eligible, but I don't think the offensive line would be a place that
we wouldn't waste Vince Carter on the O-line. There's no question.
Could slide into an Argonaut uniform. We talked to Vince on the sidelines with John Lou just a few moments ago, and he said he was ready to play.
And a big CFL fan, which is nice to hear. That's great.
The Renegades, the Eskimos, first ever meeting. Joe Pow Pow against the team he used to be with. And Dan Crowley goes against his old mates as well.
Great storylines for that game. Ottawa will be competitive this year. We saw that in week 1 versus Saskatchewan. I think most of the teams in the league realize that they will be. Eric Tillman has done a very nice job of building a team in 2 or 3 months, basically, is what it breaks down to.
Yeah, but I think one of the keys is that the CFL realizes that the way to have success with expansion teams is to give them the opportunity to get some players. I mean, in the National Hockey League, you're 5 years away from even coming close to the playoffs as an expansion team with the players that are made available to you. So I think it's a good idea to allow expansion teams to get some personnel, and then it's up to the Eric Tillmans to try and pick the right guys, but I think he's got a fairly good group over there.
Well, he's done that. He's built his Canadian talent, which is very important, obviously, in the CFL, and then picked up some key free agents and then a nice trade to get Darren Davis. Has really put the pieces together for Ottawa.
Now, Staten will be I'm not sure if he's starting tomorrow night or not, but he signed with Ottawa yesterday.
See that time?
Signed with Ottawa, and did you see who signed with the Eskimos? Steve Charbonneau.
Yeah, from Montreal. Little mistake there from Thomas Haskins and Lawrence Phillips. One was supposed to go out. One was supposed to zig. See, they both zag. They're going to be over here. They both go in like this, and they're together. One has to go out. One has to go in. See, we both zig. So there's 2 guys. There's 3 guys who are in the same spot.
Cavillo has a target near time. Woodcock is the newcomer. Makes the catch at the 10-yard line. Pat Woodcock played with the Giants for a couple of weeks last season.
Well, Cavillo just taking advantage of the great field position that his defense has given him. He has to kind of throw that over the right shoulder of Roger Dunbruck to Pat Woodcock, who just wants to hold on to the ball because he already has the first down.
Woodcock also joined the Alouettes late and ran back a few kicks in the final few weeks of the season when the Owls were trying to get back on track in the midst of that horrendous losing streak. Cavillo steps up. There's a chance for the end zone. Can he get there? He's down to the 1-yard line. There's no indication that he made it across. Michael Fletcher.
94, Kendrick Golson, the inside defensive lineman, was being blocked and took a big gamble when he jumped up in the air. Calvillo kind of gave him a pump fake. You're going to see Calvillo come up and step around. No one's downfield, so he's going to step up in the pocket. Right here, Golston kind of jumped in the air, and when he did, he got blocked to the outside. See 94 reacting late, try and come over and make the tackle on Calvillo. You leave your feet, there's a chance you're going to get beat.
2nd and goal to go. Alouettes at the Argonaut 1. Will this be a problem? Whoa! Phillips is stood up by O'Shea. Lawrence Phillips has been stopped on 1-yard tries a couple of times.
Yeah, well, he had 2 gambles now on 3rd down in the middle of the field that he was turned away, and now
that was 3rd and 1. This was 2nd and 1 with the end zone looming.
Now it's 3rd down again.
This time it is 3rd down and goal to go, and Michael O'Shea has saved the Argonauts for the moment. Can he do it again? 3rd and 1, Alouettes at the 1, and this time Phillips has no problem sliding through behind a couple of key blocks. So Phillips is into the end zone. Touchdown, Montreal.
Well, that time Lawrence Phillips used nice patience as he took that ball to the left side. He just waited for his hole to open up, then he sliced right through it.
His 4th touchdown in 2 games in Canadian football. Lawrence Phillips had 3 in the opener last week against BC. Terry Baker is in. 14 carries, 87 yards, including a 45-yarder for Phillips. And add 1 more to Montreal's total.
You start to get the feeling that Argonaut defense is running out of gas. They had the great stand to give the ball back to their offense, and then the interception put them right back in their own end again. And now they're just getting tired. Watch the patience I talked about with Lawrence Phillips. He waited for just a second and then ran through the arm tackle of Michael O'Shea. A little side step to the left, some patience, and a little cutback right there. And Golson can't stop him before he crosses that line.
That's 14 points off 2 Toronto turnovers for the Alouettes tonight, although the previous touchdown required the Owls to march 107 yards after the Sanders fumble at the 3 and 53 yards from Ben Cahoon to make it into the end zone.
Well, Gary Echeverry's got some adjustments to make. He's got to find a way to get his quarterback, Michael Bishop, out moving and using his legs as much as possible until he can learn enough offensively to move the ball through the air. And you wonder if in the next couple of weeks, depending on the condition of Stanley Jackson, whether or not Jimmy Kemp gets a call one more time.
Jeff Johnson, second return of the night. Better this time as Johnson gets out across the 25 to the 28, but flags fall there. 20 on the return for Johnson.
4 touchdowns for Lawrence Phillips in 2 games in the Canadian Football League. Here was his most recent. Go down as a 1-yard run, although he looked like he ran about 4 or 5. But in week 1 versus BC, he wasn't quite as close when he got the football and ran through BC defense from about the 6-7 yard line there. This was from the 10. Nice move in the hole and broke a tackle there to get in the end zone. And then here was number 3 in week 1.
He has not been quite as spectacular tonight, but he has been effective without question.
Well, he had the one big run.
Huge run. Over
45 yards. And other than that one run, the Argo defense has kept him in check pretty well.
And they held him in check on short yardage situations, including a 3rd down gamble. But not the last 3rd down gamble.
Well, you can see, though, how smooth he is and why the coaching staff is excited to have Lawrence Phillips here. And then when you have this guy as your backup plan, it makes for a pretty good depth at the running back position for your ball team.
Well, the Argos are in deep trouble here now, trailing 20 to 5, looking at 2nd down and long. Sanders, though, breaks out. Sam Sanders across the 40 to the 43. His biggest play of the night. He's fumbled a couple of times, and Stephon Reed finally got over to put the stop on number 29, Sam Sanders. A 29-yard run there. So a little life left in the Argos on the final play of the 3rd quarter. It's Toronto's opening night here at Skydome, and lots more to come.
And welcome back to our CFL studios. A 5-point lead at the half for Montreal is now 15 points. Give Toronto's defense a lot of credit. They've been tough on Montreal. But we begin with a look at Montreal's defense making the young Argo quarterback pay, Jock.
Yeah, I want to have another look at that interception, which obviously led to the Montreal touchdown. Now, they're hemmed in deep in their own end zone, okay? You've got them in 2nd and long. Now, watch the 3 Montreal linebackers. 1, 2, 3, there they are. Now, those are the guys you want to affect with your play-action pass. Michael Bishop has been asked to play action here. I'm not putting this interception on his shoulders. He's got no throwing lanes because those linebackers didn't move. They didn't move because they don't have to respect the run at 2nd and long out of their own end zone. So if Toronto's going to have some success with Bishop, they need to give him some help back there. I know you're going to talk about some play action that works.
Yes, because Montreal established a running back, and Lawrence Phillips got the football in those first 2 series and made some big plays. So
what happens? You put Mike Pringle in there, and watch how he influences Martavius Houston. You see Pringle there, you see Houston. As we run the play, it's a play-action fake. Watch as Houston aggressively attacks Pringle because he doesn't want to get beat by the run. Where does the football go? Just to that area behind Martavius Houston. That was a smart play based on the fact that they established Pringle during the running game earlier in the football half.
Oh, Schultz, I'm loving that, man.
Yes, baby.
Play action working at its finest. And on top of that, hey, you got one that doesn't work. I agree completely. You can't do that down there backed up. But what Anthony Calvillo doing is he's using all his weapons. You see him using everybody on the football field. And then when it comes down to it, he's using his own feet. This will kill a defense. Certainly the Toronto defense have been warriors out there playing much of the game on that side of the ball. Now they got to chase Anthony Calvillo down. Anthony proving they still got a little tread in them tires. And then down close, AC takes it in, almost scores. Great job of seeing the field and getting down close. A nice job. Here he is, dropping back. Everything's covered, lets things develop. Sees a nice little lane, tugs it, says, hey, Michael, take a little bit of that. I can get it down there close, and then we see Phillips score a touchdown. Huge day for this football team when AC can get his legs working.
Absolutely. Let's see if Bishop can keep the ball moving for Toronto, down by 15 into the fourth.
And Sam Sanders has 12 carries, 57 yards, the longest of the night, 29 in the previous play. Now the fourth quarter is underway. And Turner got the call. That's Marcellus Turner, and he's trapped in the backfield. John?
I'm here with the Argos' very first halftime act, Amanda Marshall. Amanda, how did you get involved with this particular endeavor?
I was on the road, and they called us up, and they said it was going to be the inaugural performance, and they asked us to come down and do it, and I was more than happy. We were going to be in town anyway, and it worked out perfectly, so I'm really happy.
I know you just came back from Europe. Did they contact you in Europe?
Yeah, they did, actually. We were in Italy at the time.
How's the tour been going?
It's been going really, really, really well, but it's always fun to be at home. Actually, this is only the second time that I've been to the Sky Dome, so I'm actually really, really excited here tonight.
Are you enjoying the game?
Yeah, I am. I can't profess to be a big, football fan. I'm not an ardent fan. This is actually the second game I've ever been to, but we're really happy. I mean, it's always, these kinds of things are always fun. It's always a good time, and people are hyped, and we had a good time.
That's great. Thank you so much for being with us, Amanda.
Thank you very much.
Amanda Marshall. Nice halftime show.
It really was. It sounded great, and she sounded great, and like I mentioned, my daughter would know all about her. I don't I don't know a lot of her songs, but they don't want to sell a 39-year-old broadcaster. They want to sell the young kids and get them back in the park, and having Amanda Marshall will certainly help in that respect.
Argonauts are down 20-5, 15 points to come back. And Prefontaine has to kick it away. Stokes won't get a play on this one for the Alouettes. He's had a pretty nice night. Amanda Marshall stinging it up at halftime and posing with John Liu. I wonder if he brought along his own photographer.
Damon Allen is ready to play. Are you? Play $1 Million Touchdown to win at Safeway. If your name appears, you've won. The Bulova Millennia Vibra Alarm Watch with 2 alarm modes and stainless steel case and bracelet. Or Karcher's pressure washer and the rechargeable Zoom Broom. Quality cleaning equipment from Karcher. Swipe your club card at Safeway and play $1 Million Touchdown to win.
If you're noticing that people are dressing better...
Client meeting?
No. It might be because our summer sale is now in progress, which means you can get a great-looking suit for $130, a sport coat for $100, and if you're looking for ties, shirts, or slacks, they're also at big savings. So come on in. While you might not be the first in your office, it's probably best not to be the last. Well made, well priced, well dressed. Moores.
The British Open. Leading into this year's event at the stunningly beautiful Muirfield Links in Scotland, ESPN Classic Canada takes you on a tour of 131 years of Open history. Unforgettable golf stories.
Look at here.
It went in the bird. Set in the land where it all started. The British Open Special starts July 15th on ESPN Classic Canada, where the legends come to play.
Lawrence Phillips has had a nice evening, a nice third quarter as we look at the numbers. Alouettes dominating with turnovers, and that 335 looms rather large there too, right?
Yeah, well, when you have the 3 turnovers and you get 14 points off them, guess what the difference in the score is right now?
That's 15.
Orlando
Woodcock.
Steinauer.
Yes, and the newcomer, Pat Woodcock, just about had a christening from Orlando Steinauer.
Yeah, it'll be to the right of your screen, and this is where, as a receiver, you want that ball to get down in a hurry because you know the defensive back's coming. You know you're going to get hit. And coaches will tell you, listen, you might as well catch the thing because you're going to get hit anyway.
Didn't catch it, got the hit. That'd been a little more substantial had he held on to the ball. 2nd and 10, Alouettes back at the 29. They have the lead by 15. Shotgun, Cavillo. Under the cover. Phillips. Nowhere to run after making the catch. Martavius Houston is a solid player, and he has been close to Mr. Phillips on more than one occasion tonight.
Well, the play was designed, John, to go to Thomas Haskins, but the Argo defense to a man played this pretty well, and that allowed Martavius Houston to move up and do his thing at the point of attack. But it all works together. We saw how it broke down one time when Montford made an inside move early, but when Thomas Haskins tried to get outside, he was shut down. Calvillo had to go to the backside of the play, and then it just doesn't have any chance for success.
Marcellus Turner, number 3 for the Argonauts out of Alabama A&M. 5'7" speedster standing back near his 40. Baker had one blocked earlier, at least partially blocked. There's a little heat on him there, but he gets it away.
He's got a wall.
A wall from the near side. Away for another one. Looks for a block here.
What a move.
Baker got into the mix himself and helped submarine the return. Marcellus Turner.
Well, there was one Montreal tackler with a chance. Here he is right here. He's going to end up coming back this way. And when he gets outside, he has one chance. There's one Montreal tackler with a chance to keep him in that containment area. See one move there. Now watch that. He's going to keep coming back. He'll keep coming. He'll keep coming. Here he comes. Now he comes to the left. Now here's the chance right there. Little move right there. Gets him to the outside with a little bit more room to get going.
Reggie Durden missed that first tackle, and the second was missed by Patrick Dorvelis, a newcomer to the Alouettes. So a little life for the Argonauts here. Sam Sanders broke 1 for 29 on his last carry. Only about 5 this time.
See how Tim Fleiser there on the defensive end was in a bit of a bind because he had to decide quickly whether or not to go and try and stop Sanders or to contain Michael Bishop. And he was frozen, and that allowed Sanders to pick up pretty good yards on first down. By the time you get 5 or 6 on first down, you really open the playbook for your quarterback.
Little enthusiasm at Sky Dome for the Argonauts, trailing by 15, still with a chance here. Lots of time to go, 4th quarter. Sanders got 5 on his first carry, and he's close to another 5 there. We'll see where they spot the ball.
He could be about a half a yard short.
I think you're right.
This would be about the time when this is about, I think, the first time Gary Echeverry has had to make a decision like this on 3rd down. But down by 15 with 11 minutes to go, it's not much of a choice. You go and get it. You know, sometimes the circumstances in the game dictate how big of a gamble it will be for you. And right now, there's not much choice for Gary Echeverry.
3rd down, 1 to go. Bishop, good move. Quarterback moved right around, and the Alouettes went for it. Well, as Bishop moves around the right side.
It's amazing, John, because usually in those short yardage situations, everybody in the O&D line are thinking that, you know, they're all going to pinch down into the middle, thinking Bishop will just go right over center. But he just takes it and takes it to the outside for more than the yard he needed, about 4 or 5, as a matter of fact.
I've really been impressed with his play tonight. He hasn't moved the football team all that well all evening long, but Bishop has shown some brief signs, and that was another one right there. 1st down, Toronto. Bishop will throw this. Tyree Davis, his favorite target, will have a 1st down.
We've seen some nice moves from Ben Cahoon from Montreal, and Tyree Davis gets into the action there. It's a nice stiff leg to the right side to freeze the tackler and get back into the middle for some extra yards. Remember, he was banged up early in the game, Tyree Davis, on the sideline, and really stuck it out.
Five catches, 40 yards for Tyree Davis. First down for the Argonauts. Sean Daniels had one carry earlier. A couple of years in Edmonton. At least the last 2 seasons, and he has 4 yards on that play.
Well, Michael Bishop has been down in this area a couple times now, and he's had chances and come away with field goals.
And the biggest opportunity missed by the Argonauts was the fumble by Sanders.
Yeah, down around
at the
3-yard
line. The Alouettes marched 107 yards for the touchdown after that. Second down. Bishop escapes to the first down marker.
And I'll give him
He's
this.
Inside the 10, and it'll be close.
I'll give him this too, John. He's not hook sliding when he gets into the open field. He went down, lowered his head and shoulders, and took a pretty good hit. You know, when he sees a lane, he's going to take off running. Nothing to the play side. There's the lane. Watch the hit he takes at the end of the play. Oh, that's a pretty good hit by Stephon Reed. No hook sliding for him. Now it kind of stretches that defense a little bit to know that Michael Bishop could run to the outside on a play like this.
Now here's another gamble for the Argonauts. Third down at the 9-yard line. Touchdown toss. He found Daryl Mitchell right on time.
Now that was a gamble in the play calling, although it was about 2 yards. So Gary Echeverry knew he was going to get one-on-one coverage, and that's where you go to Daryl Mitchell.
Nice drive by the Argonauts, finished off by the touchdown toss to Daryl Mitchell. Echeverry has the key touchdown of his head coaching career right there. Mitchell into the end zone, makes the catch from the newcomer at quarterback, Michael Bishop. Playing with more poise and confidence on every sequence.
Bishop scoring almost as much as John Lou in the sidelines. Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom. I'm Dan Pollard. Sports Center coming up right after the football game. Here are some of the stories we're following, and it's been another busy day in sports. Eddie the Eagle landing in Toronto. Leafs introducing Ed Belfour to the media and fans, and Brent Wallace as well. He'll have a full report on the day's activities. Jays and Red Sox in Boston. Bottom of the 6th, tied at 1s. Signals cross a throwing error. Nomar Garcia-Perez scores. The team as in Boston with a 2-1 lead, but the Jays have tied it up 2-2 in the 8th inning now. And they also have some National League action for the Expos and Braves in Atlanta. 30-minute rain delay, but bottom of the 5th, tied at 1s. Matt Franco takes Tony Armas Jr. deep, a 2-run shot. 3-1 at that point. Bottom of the 6th, it is 3-2 for Atlanta. Also on the show, we have highlights from Wimbledon, a major upset there, and Paul Tracy will not win the Indy 500, losing his appeal. Helio Castroneves will still be the winner. More fourth quarter action coming up right after this.
You could win one of 10 Ford Explorers or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today. You could win one of 5 new Jaguars from Best Western or one of thousands of other great prizes in Best Western Sleep and Win Instant Win Game. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN today.
Michael Bishop took over the Argonaut offense after 2 plays by Stanley Jackson. He has them in the end zone here.
Well, Bishop gets some time to throw. He just waits, and then lets it go. And Baron Miles was in pretty good position. He just needed some help from his friend.
Mitchell has been a forgotten target much of the evening. However, he was there when called upon. Third down gamble pays off for the Argonauts. The Alouettes get the ball down. This is Keith Stokes. He's been terrific on returns tonight. still standing, crossing the 42. And there's a penalty flag down back at the 35. 34 on the return.
I mentioned that Baron Miles needed some help from his friends on Daryl Mitchell. Watch Daryl Mitchell here. Baron Miles will be right here on your screen. He's going to come in a minute. Baron Miles does his job. He keeps Mitchell to the outside, but he needs some help from his friends in the communication department. He needs them to yell ball. They yell ball in the air. He can get his head around faster and get a chance to look at that ball coming down. If he turns around quicker, the ball lands in his hands. Baron Miles didn't know when the ball was going to arrive, and Mitchell did.
Third down gamble pays off. The Argonauts really had no choice but to go for it. 7 plays, 45 yards, makes it a pretty nice drive.
Yeah, and it was the second third down gamble in the drive. One on the running play where Michael Bishop took it outside and got the first down and then some, and then Mitchell caps off the drive with a touchdown to get the Argos to within striking range. And one thing that will do for you, especially your defense, is to give them a lift now that they think that you have a chance. But watch the move. This is Baron Miles right here is keeping him to the outside position, and really he does it about textbook as you can do it. Maybe just get his hands on him is the only way he can improve. But if you turn around here, turn around a little earlier, and that ball is right in Baron Miles' hands.
Mitchell 2 catches, 21 yards, and that for the touchdown goes down as a 2-yard reception.
That's how close it is. Baron Miles gets his head around just a split second too late. Mitchell was very calm. The other thing about what Daryl Mitchell did there was he didn't give away that the ball was on its way to Baron Miles. In other words, as he runs down the field, he just looks calm, collected, and he just waits till that ball is about to arrive, then turns around and sticks his hands out. And that's a veteran receiver move from Daryl Mitchell.
Argonauts have been asked to re-kick after that penalty. Stokes
lost the handle.
Lost the handle. Gets it back. 23 on the return that time.
Lawrence Phillips has had a tough night, but he's put together a pretty good night, really, when you look at the numbers. He had the one big run for 45 yards. He's been stopped a couple of times in short yardage, which may have some people in Montreal wondering about Pringle again, but Lawrence Phillips is showing why he is the back that he is.
Offsetting penalties, setting up that re-kick. And so the Argonauts gain a little bit there because the return was not quite as substantial.
And Pringle is getting some playing time in this game.
He didn't get much in week 1.
No.
Went in late in the game, and that was about it. So here's Cavillo. He has the lead for the Alouettes. And Phillips has it coming out of the backfield for Argonauts. Greet him there, a little swing pass that worked out well.
Thomas Haskins with the key block on the play. And Kenny Kelly. Watch Kenny Kelly, number 24 right here. He tries to flow to this play. The ball's going to be dumped to Phillips in the backfield. See the block right there by Thomas Haskins, just putting Kenny Kelly in behind the play and giving Phillips a little bit of a lane.
Gain is 9. This is 2nd and 1 for Cavillo and the Alouettes. Phillips should have the first down. He's across the 40. And Montford was there.
Joe Montford is allowed in this defense to move around a lot, and he has been on us on every series, trying to move to the inside, maybe show that he's in there. So he's right in beside, then he moves to the outside, and then watch how he slides, takes a step up, sees Phillips, bam, right in the hole. Joe Montford was 0.5 of a sack, like he was a half a quarterback.
And who was that
in
guy?
1999.
We can never find out who it was unless it was Dunnigan. Flutie wasn't around. It had to be Dunnigan.
Well, Montford has broken a lot of quarterbacks in half. He needed one more there to tie the record.
Corey Grant makes a nice catch out at midfield, and that gets the Alouettes rolling again.
3-time outstanding defensive player in the Canadian Football League. And Joe Montford really, on defense, it's hard as one player in a defense to really influence the game. I mean, everyone does their job and you'll win, but offensively, it's a little different. Joe Montford can be one of the special occasions where you can actually have one player change the outcome of the game.
1st and 10, a little play action fake, and over the middle for Thomas Haskins. Inside the 35-yard line for Haskins. You know, this guy should have had a regular job with the Alouettes over the past few years, shouldn't he?
Well, yeah, I mean, and they've tried to work him in more as a receiver with Mike Pringle in the lineup than a running back. But
well, that's where he basically is. He's the third slot back in this scheme that the Alouettes are running.
And you look, his career receiving numbers are higher than rushing numbers. He's 128 catches and 12 touchdowns, and his career can do a lot of things for you. Can return kicks.
Nowhere to run for Anthony Cavillo, who just ducked under that one from Johnny Scott.
Now, Johnny Scott is coming off an injury as well, but it looks like it's really come a long way. He said at the beginning of training camp, I talked to him there, that it was not quite 100%, but Johnny Scott, who is right here, looks to me to be 100% healthy now, and he was coming off the edge unblocked. And you want to block Johnny Scott. Azumo KK couldn't step out in time, lost him, and Scott almost took Calvillo's head right off. It would have been one of those half a quarterback deals. Of course, they don't give half sacks anymore.
Under the new rules.
One or the other.
Comes back. Long toss. No flags down there in the coverage. Clifford Ivory.
You know, and did Clifford Ivory is the question. Did he get his head around and look back at the football? Pat Woodcock, I believe, was the intended receiver down the sideline.
Well, it was underthrown, right?
And slightly underthrown, and Ivory had his hands up, so then you would think the screening call. That's what Woodcock wanted. But did Ivory get his head around and look back at the football? Because if he did, there's no penalty as Roger Dunbrook loses contain. Now here comes the play. Did Ivory turn around and look? Right there. He turned around and looked. That's just straight up good coverage. And that ball was, you're right, John, slightly underthrown, or Woodcock probably has a touchdown.
Huge play for the Argonauts, who trailed by 8 with just over 3 minutes to go. Baker into punt from midfield. High kick. Will chase one of those receivers back into the end zone. He hammered it right through, in fact.
Well, it's a big single point.
It might turn out to be just that. 62-yard single for Terry Baker. And now it's a 9-point difference. Montreal on top of the Argos, 21-12.
Beginning July 6th, the 21 Days of Heart and Steel return to the Outdoor Life Network.
There's always one who breaks away. Then it's me against him. He wants to burn me. And there's only one way to fight fire.
It's here, it's clear. New thirst-quenching Gatorade Ice.
Summer in Dublin, Ohio, where you can count on two things, mosquitoes and garage sales.
You know that's one of a kind.
Half the town is buying.
This must be one of a kind.
And the other half is selling.
It's one of a kind.
And with the money we save, we go to Wendy's for the super value menu. Everything is just $1.39. Junior bacon cheeseburgers, made Dave's way, cold drinks, hot fries. It's the best $1.39 you can spend.
One of a kind.
The super value menu at Wendy's. It's better here. And remember, you can eat great even late.
3 minutes to go at Skydome. Here's our game story so far. Stanley Jackson injured on the second play of the game, and that meant that Michael Bishop was in.
Cahoon had a big game. Lawrence Phillips, 123 yards, only 90 yards rushing for Phillips. Well, I say only. That's pretty good. 90 yards in a game.
It certainly is.
And 45 of those yards came on one carry for Lawrence Phillips. 123 yards of offense in the touchdown, and 90 yards rushing the ball.
The turnovers by the Argonauts, leading to 14 points for the Alouettes.
Yeah, and that really has been the difference when you look at the scoreboard and really the numbers that matter most, and that's the score.
And the one turnover that was hugely important to Toronto's situation was the fumble at the 3-yard line by Sam Sanders, which could have changed the complexion of this game. Bishop can't get it away. The Alouettes will score here, racing to the end zone. 27 yards out. Tim Strickland.
Tim Strickland picked the pocket of Michael Bishop like he just took it from him. Bishop had no idea. This is a young quarterback not reading the blitz. There is a flag on the field, however.
But I don't think this one is coming back, or at least the possession will not.
Strickland just picked the pocket of Michael Bishop. I'll take your wallet. I'll take your keys. Can't score a touchdown.
First in the CFL for Tim Strickland.
Major foul. Necessary roughness. Toronto 84. After the ball was dead, we'll apply it on the kickoff.
Touchdown counts. It'll be on the kickoff that the penalty will be assessed. And, you know, I think it was Matt Dunnigan early in the show said that, you know, for the Argos, their quarterback has to possibly not try and win the game, but just not lose it. And offensively, this team has self-destructed a couple of times now and really cost the Argonauts what will be this game.
Third turnover that has cost majors to the Argonauts tonight, a total of 21 points, of course. And all of a sudden, that 9-point advantage is increased. So Tim Strickland has the touchdown. Michael Bishop ran out of miracles here. Ball stripped away. It bounces to Strickland, and it's a free ride to the end zone. 28-12, Montreal on top.
Time to answer the TSN Playbook trivia question. Who is the first CFL quarterback to pass for 600 or more yards in a regular season game? The answer? Danny Barrett. Hit tsn.ca/playbook for contest details and play.
New Roundup Pull-and Spray, the easy way to eliminate weeds.
The Mazda Protege and Protege 5. What puts these siblings at the top of their class?
Zoom, zoom.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The award-winning Mazda Protege and Protege 5. Overachievers running the family. Hey, Mom.
A lot of folks still think they can't get the sunglasses they love and the prescription they need. But at LensCrafters, we have all the new 2002 styles like Ray-Ban and Vogue available in your prescription. Come in and see. Are you lucky enough to need glasses?
There's one thing I will never stop chasing, the finish line. I'm Katrina LeMay Doan, Power Bar user since 1997.
The Renegades and the Eskimos, Thursday on TSN.
Alouettes scored early, and 10 points in the third quarter really put this one out of reach. The Argos got within 9, but now it's a long way back. Marcellus Turner gets Toronto out across the 15 to about the 17-yard line. Off to Commonwealth in Edmonton on Wendy's CFL Live tomorrow evening. The Renegades make their first road trip of the regular season. They'll take on the Eskimos as Dan Crowley has a homecoming of sorts.
Yeah, Dan Crowley.
You'll be there tomorrow night?
I'll be there. I want to see that new running back too, John Avery, in Edmonton. I say new to the Canadian Football League, not new to football fans in general. Time in the National Football League, and of course Ron Williams still there in Edmonton. Got good depth in their backfield as well, and depth for the Argos at quarterback is now a question mark for Gary Etcheverry.
Michael Bishop got his chance, and although he is not going to win the ball game, he may just get a passing grade.
Even though Jeep Grand Cherokee is more refined and civilized than ever, rest assured, it still hasn't lost its animal instincts.
Sylvain Girard, the latest player shaken up, although he looks fairly healthy, heading to the sidelines. Smile on his face.
It'll be interesting. The next opponent, I believe, for the Argos is the BC Lions on the 9th. And
you are right about that. That's on Tuesday, and then
two teams come that will be 0-2.
4 days later in Edmonton against the Eskimos on the Saturday night. So this is a tough stretch for the Argos. This is Sean Daniels.
You know, Bishop did some good things in this game when you look back at it, and most of them were with his legs, there's no question, but he threw a couple of nice deep balls, one to the newcomer on the outside, Plummer.
I suggested he won't win the game, Glenn, but he may just get a passing grade when all is considered. He's shown pretty nice poise, tossed a couple of nice balls like that to Chad Plummer.
And Chad Plummer has made some nice catches just like that one. It was play number 2 in the first half.
Argos have not said what happened to Stanley Jackson, but he was gone early, and Michael Bishop in relief has shown some of his athletic ability here tonight without question.
You can see also the other side of the coin, which is that he has a long way to go of reading defenses and being real successful in the passing game.
Tyree Davis made the catch short of the first down. 2:22 to go in the Argos home opener.
9 of 17. That's not a lot of throws for Canadian Football League. But again, he was back in the pocket a bunch more and took off running with the ball.
Second down, 2 deep.
The one guy that he hasn't seen enough, he's thrown one touchdown pass. It was a short one, was Daryl Mitchell, who's basically working together with Tyree Davis on that right side. And Davis has been a target. We see 87 Daryl Mitchell. He just slips in behind coverage, and he's open again by a couple yards. And at this point, for some reason, Michael Bishop is looking beyond him to wide out Tyree Davis and not to the slot back position.
On third down, the Alouettes go for it anyway. Bishop lost the ball again. A couple of fumbles there. Alouettes don't get a hold of it, but it won't matter. They'll get it on downs.
And they're going after it. Bishop is in a fight there. I believe it's Kevin Johnson he's going with. I don't think Michael Bishop liked the way he was treated at the end of that play. That's a big man in there playing the quarterback position. Michael Bishop fumbles the ball, and you see he still gets driven down into the ground. That's what he didn't like. He got up swinging after that one, and it was Kevin Johnson, and then Kevin Johnson doesn't like that, so then they throw around each other, and then you gotta love this game, don't you?
Gotta love the game. Kevin Johnson, 3 years as a Calgary Stampeder in his first season as an Alouette.
You know, Michael Bishop will have to learn a little bit more about reading defenses and then protecting the football. Those turnovers obviously really hurt him.
Here's Mike Pringle. And not a real turn of speed for Pringle there. As the Argonauts defense fanned out and was waiting for him.
Well, Mike Pringle has seen limited action tonight. There's no question. He only has a few carries, 4 to be exact. Picked up 24 yards, so his average is above his career average, which is pretty impressive. Lawrence Phillips, 90 yards along the ground, 123 total yards. Of course, he had 45 in 1 carry.
Alouettes in control of this into the final minute and 30 seconds. Took a hit, lost the ball.
Michael Fletcher.
The Argonauts have it.
Michael Fletcher may not move. That was as big a hit as you can get from the free safety. My goodness, Michael Fletcher, who played linebacker last year in BC, comes up and goes toe-to-toe with maybe the hardest hitting tailback in the game in Mike Pringle. What a hit by this guy. The free safety is going to step right up in here and watch the contact one-on-one. And we talk about you got to love this game. Watch it. There's the hole. There's the run. There's the free safety. Pow. That's right. Knocked the ball right out of the hands of Pringle. And down goes Michael Fletcher. That is solid contact at the hole, folks. That's about the hardest hit you're going to see. Boy, it's not pretty, but that's a hard hit.
Fletcher is still being tended to. Both players go down, but Fletcher remains that way right now. Pringle got up. Fletcher is moving his extremities there now, so that's better news than the last close-up we had of the collision, or at least the aftermath of same. Fletcher is known as reliable and tough, and you saw the toughness right there.
Well, that he is, and he learned a lot of that toughness by playing in the box or with the linebackers a year ago in BC. Had 50 tackles as a linebacker in their system, and came over here, and that was a linebacker type hit.
Highlights of this and everything else coming up on Sports Center. Duffy and Pollard are at the center of all the action tonight. They'll follow CFL football from here.
There's something wonderful about a hamburger. It's one of the few things that brings so much joy. Made fresh, hot off the grill, all juicy and delicious with your choice of fresh toppings, it lifts your spirits and makes everything okay. That's the kind of hamburger we make. Wendy's Classic Double with cheese. It's better here. And now Wendy's pickup window is open late, so you can eat great even late.
It's week 2 in 2002, and Wendy's Friday Night Football will be a great run from Winnipeg. Ticats and the Blue Bombers, two teams that won in the opening week, so someone will fall from the ranks of the unbeaten.
We started with Friday Night Football this year in Ottawa. Renegades back with us this year, and we went to overtime. Pretty exciting game. So Hamilton and Winnipeg, I know you're listening. We need a little bit of the same.
A little overtime would be fun. If the coaches are paying any attention to us here tonight.
Take one more look at that hit. Michael Fletcher on Mike Pringle.
Pringle lost the ball. Turnover goes to the Argonauts with not enough time left.
You know, you talk about, contact sport in football, and a lot of people say, well, hockey's a contact sport, football is a collision sport. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
Marcellus Turner couldn't hang on to that.
Gary Echeverry has some tools to work with. He's got a young quarterback that he's going to need some good play out of his defense, but he's got a lot of that tonight. I mean, his defense has played pretty well. Gary Echeverry is saying better performances from Johnny Scott, better performances from Joe Mumford from start to finish, and I think that's why he's smiling over there. He's saying, okay, this one got away with us because of turnovers, but we've got some things we can build on and work on moving into week 3.
Third down and a whole bunch, and Bishop ran into one of his blockers. He'll likely not get out of this mess, and 1:12 remains on the clock.
Bishop just knocked down.
Well, that passing grade I was talking about is slowly dwindling here into the dying moments, but I mean, there's not much he can do at this point, down by 16.
And Don Matthews has his team. Remember, this team at the end of last year, the Montreal Alouettes, lost 7 regular season games in a row and then lost their playoff game. Enter Don Matthews right around Grey Cup time to turn things around, and like he's done throughout his history, he's doing it again here with 2 wins out of the gate for the Montreal Alouettes.
Too late.
5-6.
Too late.
These Alouettes so far tonight. So the defense is handling Bishop at times. Here's Mike Pringle.
I think Calvillo's played pretty well tonight. 240 yards passing, but he added 51 along the ground rushing himself. And he got off to a bit of a slow start, but he's regrouped and put together the win. And guess what?
He's the player of the game. The game ball tonight brought to you by SportCheck.ca, Canada's choice for sports.
You know, most of the quarterbacks, even the young ones, when they come in, they'll show signs, and they may have even put together one big game, but the sign of the veteran and the one that's taken that step, like Calvillo should have by now, is when things go bad early, can you bounce back? And when Bishop struggled early in the game, it just got worse after that, a couple more turnovers. But for Anthony Calvillo, it was a slow start in the first quarter and a half. And he bounced back. He got a nice drive together. Ben Cahoon finished that one off.
On a 53-yard pass and run play there.
At the end of the day, they just say, did you win or lose? And Calvillo can say, you won.
Mike Pringle. Tough running near the end for Pringle. Into the final 40 seconds. I don't imagine the running back controversy will go away this season in one sense. However, for now, I think that Lawrence Phillips has quieted some of the Mike Pringle supporters in one area because of the way he has played in his first two games.
Yeah, and Lawrence Phillips has done his job. He's come on, and he's in 2 games put together over 200 yards in total offense. So, you know, that's why they like him, and that's why he's a starting running back. And you know what? It won't go away. And it'll be interesting to see, should the Montreal Alouettes lose a game, and see what happens after that. Everything stays pretty much the same when you're winning. And right now they're winning 2-0. It's when you have trouble times that you wonder what happens after that, and that's what we'll see as the season progresses, unless the Alouettes go perfect 18-0.
Sports Center follows us here at Skydome tonight. All the stories of the day and football highlights too. Game 1, week 2 of CFL 2002.
And in the meantime, it is a nice situation for Don Matthews with Pringle and Lawrence Phillips.
19 seconds.
So far,
19 seconds.
not causing a problem in the locker room. Either one of them for different reasons.
They're getting along fine, and perhaps the story gets blown out of proportion by the media just a little bit.
Sure it does, and why not? It's a good story. And that's our job, isn't it? I'm trying to learn this. This is year 8 for me. It's our job to blow those things out of proportion.
Well, maybe not. That's not exactly the way I taught you. I'm just saying a good story is a good story. You go with it for a while.
I thought it was. It's a good story whether the facts agree with it or not. Isn't that how it works?
You know what? You missed that day in class.
Oh, okay. I missed a few days in class along the way, believe me.
Gary Echeverry comes away a loser on his second night as the Argonauts head coach. 28-12. There were moments for his Argonauts, but Don Matthews and the Alouettes were clearly superior in this one tonight.
2-0 and 0-2.
That's the story of our nights here at Skydome.
Wendy's CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's Classic Double with Cheese is made fresh right when you order it. It's better here. By Molson Canadian. I am Canadian. And by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
Time now for the TSN Turning Point from Skydome.
Well, the Argos were still in it, within striking range until this. Tim Strickland off the edge with a little highway robbery on Michael Bishop late in the game. And Strickland strides into the end zone.
That made it a 16-point lead, insurmountable for the Toronto Argonauts. Cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN.
Thanks, Wellesley. Thanks, Glenn Suter. 28-12 is the final there. Montreal improves to a 2-0 while the Argos drop to 0-2. So, guys, first of all, we all agree we all loved Amanda Marshall. So beyond that, beyond the Amanda Marshall halftime show, what you see of there?
Well, on the football side, anytime you can win on the road within the division, it's significant. But I don't think I've seen so much of Anthony Calvillo, how frustrated he was. He couldn't locate receivers. It came down to me for Pringle and Phillips. They controlled the game physically. Big win because you're on the road and within the division, Matty.
Schultz, I see it a different way. I saw Anthony Calvillo complete balls to 7 different receivers out there. I thought he distributed the ball magnificently. And defensively, Ed Fillion really played well for the Alouettes. Defensively, I thought the Toronto Argonauts, Jacques, played well, but 3 turnovers put 21 points up on the board for the Alouettes, and that'll kill you every time.
Absolutely. And special mention goes to Fletcher, I think, who had an excellent game at safety, and to Michael Bishop. That is an investment in the future right there because you got to play the entire game. He'll only get better from here.
Montreal's at home next week to Saskatchewan. Toronto now goes on the road. They have 2 games next week at BC, at Edmonton. Add it all up, including tonight, 3 games in 11 days. Tough schedule right now for the Argos, and they'll, of course wait to see what is the deal with the injury to Stanley Jackson. We'll be back at you tomorrow night. Wendy's CFL Live, the Ottawa Renegades on the road to take on Jason Moss and the Eskimos. That's tomorrow night. We're on the air at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. These guys are standing by. James Duthie, Dan Pollard. The next edition of the TSN Sports Center is next. I'll tell you what, number 7 in blue was pretty impressive tonight, but the rookies got a few things to learn. Montreal took advantage. They win 28-12. Thanks for watching, everybody. On behalf of our entire CFL crew, we'll talk to you tomorrow night. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader.